That hurt.
Then what is this thing?
Gio should never play for U.S. men's national team again because of the action of his parents.
What an idiot! Oh!
What type of Muppet does this?
Muppets. Absolute Muppets.
I'm not going to be the best person to give a whole explanation here, but that's...
Booty! Sick! Booty!
Fucking deal with it. What are we really doing?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
A zebra in between a tarantula and an elephant
has been nothing more than a sham.
Yeah, we didn't play well, but you know what? At the end of the day, we got the job done.
It's going to be a good time for sure.
Oh, sex with the first cousin would indeed be incest. And
welcome to the Straight Red Card. That intro needs a little adjusting because, we got Pulisic saying it's going to be a good time. And then she says, but sex with a cousin would be incest. And I'm not connecting those two things. The good time's the show.
What's up with the in between an elephant, a tarantula, and a zebra or whatever? What the fuck?
I don't know. I have no idea what that even means. It's just gibberish. And I couldn't figure out what the fuck they were talking about in that particular segment. So I just clipped that total gibberish out of there. I don't even know what question she asked him. By the way, R.I.P. Franz Beckenbauer, who died right before our Monday show.
Yeah.
And I didn't see much on X of people saying R.I.P. to Franz Beckenbauer.
They were there, not a lot, not as much as you'd imagine.
No, not much at all. Now they mentioned on most of the big shows.
They had a moment of silence during the Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid game.
Yeah,
that was in Saudi Arabia, and they whistled the entire time.
Really?
Yeah.
So Franz, in my day and age, Franz Beckenbauer was like God. Now he's a little too old for you to remember playing, Brett, but I actually got to go watch Franz Beckenbauer play for the Cosmos. I actually got to watch him on TV. We were living in New York at the time, actually. And it was just pretty amazing. Come bucket.
We got a come bucket in the chat. Chris, okay. 30-minute stream tonight, huh?
Yeah, you would think that, Chris, because there's not a whole lot going on. But believe it or not, there's lots to cover. And I was like, oh, shit, Diego's coming on tonight? How are we going to squeeze them in? Because there's actually a lot going on that you wouldn't know. But anyhow, R.I.P. Franz Beckenbauer. Glad I got to watch him play, and he was definitely a hero of mine. And I know he had his issues once he was working there at UEFA, some questionable, but who didn't have some questionable dealings with FIFA at the time? Indy weather report and forecast is cold as fuck. It's getting colder.
24 hours straight of rain for Indy, starting at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Rain? Well, at least it could be snow.
It could be sleet, yeah.
If this keeps up.
A lot of people always bitch about how Hoosiers can't drive in the snow. I'm like, well, no, that's not the problem. We have a nice thick layer of ice underneath that 1 inch of snow. That's usually what happens.
Exactly. I did get involved with something on X with somebody mentioned Kai Wagner and that being a racist piece of shit. And I'm like, oh, shit, I missed that somehow. What did he say? And then I looked it up, and apparently he said something to Bobby Wood, some sort of Asian slur in German.
Like when they were both in Germany?
No, when they were playing each other in MLS.
I'm thinking of somebody else. Never mind. Hold on. Yeah.
And so you got like a 4-game or 4-month ban. I don't remember what it was, but I was like, I don't know any Asian slurs in German. I really don't. It's not something we make fun of the Italians a lot. So I told you about spaghetti fressa being a big one in Germany. Apparently that's not just a joke now. That's an actual thing you're not supposed to say. So I called my mom and I was like, Mom, have you ever learned any? I mean, you were born there. You lived there till you're in your 20s. Surely you would have heard some sort of slur on it. She couldn't come up with one. She's like, I don't remember there ever being a slur for Asians. So she's like, there are ones for Turks. There are all kinds of them. but not for agents. Don't remember one. I'm like, okay. So then I went and looked it up, and I still couldn't find one. So maybe there is one. I was just really curious to know what it was. Although I don't want anybody.
There has to be an offensive term for everybody around the world, right? In every language. I mean,
oh, I'm sure there is. I mean, we have plenty of horrible things, terms, and derogatory terms we use for agents, right? They go back to the war with Japan in World War II, to our war in Vietnam, our war against. So yes, yeah, we got plenty. No need to bring any of those up here. Yeah, Brett is not in Cabo actually.
Is he here?
Brett,
Bali? No, not Bali.
No, nope.
Is Brett vacationing in Leeds right now?
Right.
All right. Somebody else has it real quick. I'm just scrolling through the chat. Okay. Hi guys.
Here's where Brett is currently.
Brett's currently here. And I believe that's pronounced Fouquet.
Not fuck it.
It's definitely not fuck it. That'd be if that was a city in Indiana. It'd be pronounced fuck it.
Wouldn't that be awesome if the name of that place was Fuck It? Fuck It Thailand.
Why not? Lean into it at that point. Yeah. What is it? Is it Phuket?
It is Phuket.
It's Phuket, huh?
Phuket. I mean, there is a dildo Canada. They're not ashamed of it.
Michigan.
Yeah. I mean, lean into it, you know? I mean, in what I guess it's Thai. PHU is Phu. And Ket. So yeah. Brett is in Phuket currently. Hopefully joining us here soon.
I did like a whole I don't know, French type of wannabe pronunciation of Phuket.
Yeah, I mean it could be Phuket, you know.
No, it's not. We've already been told
it's Phuket. Also, I was watching an interview. Who the hell was this? God damn it! I forgot. But he said that it's a comedian. He said the hottest chicks are the worst in bed. And I thought back and I said, no, they're not. No, they're not. That's not true. I think, you're married to a fairly hot chick. She's not. I mean, you wouldn't have married her. You wouldn't have married her.
I'm not going to put up with that personality. No, I'm kidding. Joking.
So I thought about it, and I thought it's not really the hotness level that's the problem.
It's the crazy level.
Well, no, because I've had great sex with crazy chicks too.
No, sorry, that's what I'm saying. The crazier it is, the hotter the sex.
Yeah, no, I mean, some of my best has been with crazy chicks, but the ones that
the problem is you got to deal with, slash tires at the end of it.
Yeah, there are other. Yeah, I never had the slash tires, but
speaking of crazy chicks, this is the perfect transition.
Hold on,
finish the conversation. I guess
I'm not done.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it, and it really what it came down to was the chicks that I had that were the lamest in bed were the high society, the ones the richest.
Yeah, prudes.
Yes, the richest chicks were the worst in bed. That's all I can say. Now, that's not 100%, I'm sure, but I probably only banged a couple. I shouldn't use the word bang in my youth. Really rich caramel chicks, right? Tennis club chicks, right? And that was probably some of the boringest. So Brett was married till today. No, Brett did very well, batting way above his projected XG. Let's just say that.
I know I've mentioned this story before, but she loves to bring it up all the time whenever we see people or meet people, especially new people. But we were just engaged, and we went to a friend of mine's wedding, and the wedding's the reception's going on, and I see his older brother, and I go over and I say, "Hey, Brad, this is Elizabeth. This is Brad. As you can see, I settled." And he looked at me, he looked at her, and he goes, "It's clear somebody settled."
It's clear somebody's delusional, yeah. But I remember meeting Evie back in, what was that, 2011 when we went to what was it? What bar did we go? Crazy Horse with my wife, my ex-wife, yeah. And you brought Evie, and I thought, wow, Brett, what the hell? Well done, my friend.
Yeah, let me go.
Of course, I didn't
ruin
say,
this. Yeah,
I didn't say that at the time. I was very much less ruder then than I am now. The turd in the background says, "Did I get the shaft?" I don't know. You tell me.
You even posted an intro, turd. You can't post something that's not here.
I mean, you should know if you're getting pegged or not us. All right, yeah. So then we were talking about crazy chicks.
All right. So yeah, crazy chicks. One would think that this person would be crazy good in bed, but she's also got the religious aspect. So I don't know. Maybe crazy in bed once you're married.
She's not really crazy. She does these on purpose.
I don't think it's satire.
Yes, it is.
I can't imagine it being satire.
Yeah.
I think she's just nuts.
No, me and what's-his-face were having a conversation on X about this. And I said, surely this is a joke. And then he did research into her. That's dad. Soccer dad.
Yeah. Okay, we'll pull this up here.
So he came back. I know, but he came back later and said, "You're right. This is a joke." She does a lot of these. They're just jokes.
I didn't think he said. I don't think he said it was a joke. I went to look on her TikTok. Her whole account is this kind of thing. If it's satire, she's really dedicated to it, is what he said.
Okay, well, maybe not. I mean, otherwise, she's fucking insane, like a crazy person.
I guess before we get into the crazy person, let's.
Well, you're not gonna play all of this because this.
Oh fuck no! It's 6 minutes long. I'm only gonna play maybe like the first 20 to 30 seconds just to get an idea.
Right. Hey, Jose, thank you for the $10, brother. We love you. Happy New Year. I know I'm late. Did you see Reyna hiring Ronaldo's ex-agent? Yes. What's his name? Mendez.
Talk about that.
Is it Mendez? Or am I getting?
Yeah, Mendez.
Okay. And he's got all the Portuguese big players. You'll think he'll get a move he really needs. I don't think so. This break, maybe summer, but we'll see.
We talked about this last show, and even probably the show prior. I don't see winter window, but we'll see what happens in the summer. But then again, Diego's in the green room. I can see him right there. We'll bring him in here in just a minute.
Yep.
But maybe he'll have a bit more information. But
yeah, we'll talk to Diego and find out what he's got, of course, with his connections to the Wasserman folks. Welcome to the Straight Ed Card. Do not panic is here. Fans scream and freak out because a child has multiple passports. Make sure to stalk his Instagram likes. I know people are doing that to like everybody who's doing that.
American flag. Hey, work for Musa and eventually work for Balo. So who knows? Maybe it works.
I think Musa was headed our direction anyhow. But Balogun, I'm sure the support did help. And the fact that what's his face, the manager of the English national team's a fucking idiot. Yeah. My wife gave me a Cleveland steamer. Woo! I'll pass on that. That's one thing I will not do. Although I have been somebody. Well, anyhow, we won't get into that. Somebody proposed it at one point, and I said, "No, I ain't doing that." All right,
let's check out this crazy lady.
All right, let's do that, and then get to Diego. I guess.
Somebody please explain to me what fresh hell is this?
Oh my goodness, it's longer than I thought, but I was only here to talk about it for a sake.
That's what I was saying.
There we go, finally. 2024 y'all can try to tell me that is a puppet all you want, but no. I said no. That, my friends, is 1000% a Nephilim.
What?
A Nephilim. Do you know what a Nephilim? I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that properly. I just heard it, but I'm already second guessing.
A giant human?
Yeah, it is the offspring of the fallen angels breeding with human women. They're giants, apparently.
Oh,
and she goes on to talking about how God flooded the earth to kill them, but apparently there are some that are still alive.
And this one is going back into the water.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I hope she doesn't really believe that's a real person. If so, she's a crazy person. Yeah, it's obviously a doll.
Dude, I went on to try to find a photo that can have that as my background. But every single one of them had him, the puppet as like right in the center, and I couldn't quite get it to work out. But scrolling through those photos, there must, I don't know the lore behind this, but there's definitely some kind of an event going on somewhere around the world where they have these enormous puppets. And I'm like, man, this is just kind of creepy. Weird. Creepy event.
Yeah, that was creepy and weird, but it's not a real person, my lady, and she looks like a loon, kind of. She kind of got those eyes. Oh God.
Here you go.
Anyhow, yeah.
Umar says the genesis.
Ah, okay. That's some weird shit.
Hey, the turd said, "Hey, that's my wife."
Well, I feel more sorry for you then. All right. Yep. So that's the fluff part, and I guess
like I said, she's probably crazy good in bed, but you gotta go through the entire time of dating her and marrying her before she'll put out.
No, you don't marry a girl like that.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, she's uber religious, so she's probably holding out until marriage. So
maybe. I mean, remember, some of those girls like to do the anal and remain a virgin. But what do we care? What do we care? All right. All right, let's bring on I guess Diego.
Well, yeah. We got a couple things here real quick.
Okay.
Sorry, Diego. Give us like 5 more minutes, man. I wanted to bring this up because this is yet another time when Derek agrees with Lawless, and it's becoming more and more frequent. And I got to start questioning whether or not hell froze over.
Well, no, he said he's turning a new leaf, right?
Yeah, look at that, yeah.
So maybe he's becoming more balanced. He hasn't said anything.
One of us.
He hasn't said anything real stupid yet this year, but keep in mind it's only 11 days into this year. So Connecticut United FC, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I mean come on. It's got to be the end of this.
How many shows ago were we talking about all the United and the FCs and how boring it is to see?
Last show.
I think it's almost every show.
I mean, can't we think of something new? We got to go with United and then the FC as well. And what the fuck are you uniting in Connecticut?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to unite in Connecticut. That term came typically in the old days when there were two clubs that came together. All right.
They united.
And so they said, well, okay, we're Manchester United. Disregard that there's a Manchester City right down the road.
Yeah.
Regard that. But that's typically how that name came to be. So there's nothing in DC that they were uniting. There's nothing in Connecticut they're uniting.
I was almost wondering if this new team had somebody who's backing with some cash, and you had the heavy back or cash backer, the owner, merging with Hartford. But I found out they're two different teams, so it didn't matter.
Nope.
Hartford's still out there.
They're just unoriginal fucking bastards. That's what they are.
Jose Reyes says that well here. He goes, Club United FC.
Yeah, exactly, Jose. This is becoming so repetitive.
Man.
You got to have not an ounce of creativity in your soul to go with that name.
Yep, and Simon Allen's on board with us. He's like, United again?
Good to see the old Dalai Lama Asakar getting more active on the X.
On the X, yeah. I said, how about Football United Club of Connecticut? Because if you do the abbreviation, that just says fuck.
No, it should be Football United. Yeah, that would work. Fuck. Football United Club Royal Football United Club of Connecticut. I don't know. I don't know at this point. I really don't. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, while we're talking about MLS, because this Connecticut team is joining the Next Pro League.
I mean, at least they didn't go with Inter-Connecticut, which is short for international.
Nobody enters Connecticut, right?
International. Yeah, exactly. Cranks says they're doing logos, crests so much better in NWSL than MLS. Yeah, that doesn't take much, does it?
There's Seattle Reign.
Yep.
I dig the crest because of obviously they went with the spelling of rain. So I feel like that's right. But I feel like it's still made on the same program that they make these.
I agree. Yeah.
They look similar, but at least there's a little more creativity than that, right here. Like the old crew with the three dudes and their the crew hats, the hard helmets.
The Village People one.
Yeah. I thought that was better. And all of a sudden you have this C come up. And this reminds me almost of the Juventus one too, quite frankly. I mean, I feel like there's one company out there that's persuades these teams to rebrand and you're going to get the bare bone basic branding ever.
You know, I get it, but you know that C, doesn't that C make you think of the word cunt?
Sure.
It's not like the Bears C on the side of their helmet, you know, in the NFL. It's a nice smooth. This is all crampy and shit, you know. It's all cramped. It's a cramped up C, like it's like C on that's having going through cramps. It's that time of the month. So it makes me think of cunt. Chris Gary, Connecticut United New Haven one-word team. Yeah, I mean, the Seattle Reign thing is fine. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, but it's better than the C.
So the three we had United cunt kickers. So we had fuck, which was mine. Al says cuck, and Chris says cunt.
I like it. I
think we all have the right idea here.
Yep.
But you know what? We're talking about NWSL, you know, beating out MLS when it comes to logos and crests, but I think USL beats out both.
By far. I agree with you.
By far. And somebody pointed out that Hartford's not that great. I'm like, okay, fair enough. But I look at the rest of these. I think every single one of these are better than just about any logo in MLS.
You know the best one?
In 11? No.
No, yeah, I think it is.
I like Detroit's too. I like Indy 11. I like Detroit's. I know. I like the Battery. I even like Louisville.
I even like the Rowdies one. I wouldn't cross that one out.
That's it's
classic.
It's classic. I agree. It's just it's basic. And don't get me wrong, it's fine. It's just when it comes to like a crest, I like the old school looking crests. Like the old school Juventus crests in Roma are by far better than what they have now.
Yeah, the old school crests were better. I don't know you're right. It looks like a lot of them are using, at least for the MLS one, the same.
It's a template. It's the same program.
It's like paint. They're like using paint to make fucking logos, like for the MLS logo, which is still to this day the most egregious fucking league logo I've ever seen. It's horrifically bad, and it looks like a third grader made it on paint. Well, that's what a lot of these look like. The Reign ones step up from it. Paint.
Yeah, it's like MLS is here, NWSL is here, and USL is off the charts.
Yeah, exactly. Oh well.
So I guess before we talk about the January camp, because we have a video clip here of Football Americas. Let's just go ahead and bring in Diego, because he's been sitting nicely in the back.
All right.
The green room, and we'll bring him in now.
Let's bring him in. What's up, Diego?
Hi.
You're live, brother. How you doing? It's been a while. How you doing?
Go FC Dallas.
Go FC Dallas. Yeah. So where you been? You've been in you haven't been on the show for a while. What's been up?
I've honestly recently been on social media.
That's what I noticed.
It has been quiet. I haven't seen you at all, really, on my feed.
I've been busy. End of the year was really busy for me. A lot of stuff going on, and then holidays. But
holidays, yeah.
You know, always in the mix, though. You know, always. Yeah. I see everything. I think I kind of quieted down for a minute, and just laid low and just stayed off the platform,
the socials. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
you know, it's good to take a break from time to time.
Yeah. But I mean, I'd be there. I'd scroll. I'd see everything. I'd watch clips. I'd just see all sorts of things. But I've just been quiet. But you know, there's a lot going on right now. So you know, I've been chirping a little bit more recently.
Yeah, can I broach the topic? Just because if I don't ask this, people are going to slap me. But you and Tact all good and fluffy again, or what's up there?
Well, what's the problem?
Well, if I remember was it a tweet where they were, you mentioned something about them selling out for going to the game or being with US Soccer or something like that.
Oh.
And people posted that all over the place. Surely you're aware of that. Okay, no comment.
Listen. I was on a space and someone was telling me, I was on a space after a game. I think it was after the Ghana game. Not that night, because that night I was with Weston, and then they flew straight to Europe right after the game. So I was doing some shit before they left. So I got on a space like at late in the morning, like late at night, like 1-2 in the morning, and the discourse was the U.S. soccer is trying to get more involved with the fans, and I said, no, they're not. They said that, well, look, they're inviting 11 Yanks and TAC and other creators to the game and hosting them, and I was like, oh, TAC is selling out, as a joke, because TAC really is very loud about the federation, right?
Yeah.
So, but I was joking, and he knows this, because the entire time I knew TAC was at the game, but TAC wasn't invited by the federation. TAC was invited by Brett, like
Right.
Oppenheim. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And we were invited too, by the way.
I knew
clear.
I knew that the entire time. So when I was hearing people on Twitter talk about, oh, the federation's cool for inviting these creators, the whole time in the back of my head, I was like, the federation didn't invite them. They invited Brett, and Brett said, oh, it'd be a cool idea to get, some creators here. It was Brett's idea, not the federation's idea. So when I said, oh, TAC sold out, I was joking. I knew the whole time that the federation didn't invite TAC. So he's not even in a position to sell out. And then I guess somebody brought it up on his channel, like, hey, TAC, hey, P, what do y'all think about Diego selling y'all 29, selling y'all sold out? And TAC said, did he say that? I'm not really, I don't want to speak on it because I can't confirm that he said it. I wasn't listening to it. I don't know about the clip that you guys are referring to or the tweet, but I'll ask him about it.
Yeah, no, we told people you guys would work it out.
Yeah,
it all smooth.
And
Derek and we also agreed that we would sell out if the money was there.
Million.
Shoot us a million. We'll start MLS.
Me personally, I don't fuck with the federation, and they don't fuck with me. Like, right. It's like bad between me and the Fed. Like, we have real like problems, like team hotels, at the training, like we have gotten in each other's like face, and this is like, I don't care to speak about it, but me and the federation have real problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't like each other. They don't like me. I don't like them. I'm very loud about them. Like, they don't give a fuck about the program. They give a fuck about money and nepotism and shit like that. And they have a problem with the way I'm outspoken about Greg and them. And they have a problem that I've leaked information. They actually told Brett Oppenheim to stop hanging out with me because it's either 29 or the Fed.
Mm-hmm. No, that wouldn't surprise me. So my point being as well, while Brett did invite us and 11, we didn't go, of course, 11 Yanks and TAC and all that. It's very much not only probable, but absolutely you can confirm that they knew who was on the list that was coming. Now, Brett picked it, but they didn't approve it. They did not approve it, but they knew who was coming. And there are reasons that we know that who they knew was coming. So they were ready to let's say, confront some of the people who were invited. And in some cases they didn't. I mean, you can use the word confront. They certainly...
The federation was trying to confront some of the invitees?
Oh, yeah. They had some talks with some of the invitees. You bet. You bet they did.
We had a talk too. I went to their training. I was a guest at their training. Their training against the day before Ghana in Nashville. And I went and I got into it with some of them. Like, they came up to me. They said, this, da 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 da. And I said, what you want me to do? Like, I was like, I'm not going to stop voicing my opinion. They basically want me to shut up on social media.
Right.
And they're like, listen, you have too much of a close relationship to some of the players. When you speak bad about the federation, it's just not a good look for those players. And I said, once again, what I've had to clarify my entire time on social media since everything's happened with me and the fan base, my opinions are not theirs. Like, they're not. Like, I don't know why guys can't separate those two things. And so, yeah, we got into it at the training. And TAC knows about it. You can ask TAC about it. I think Brett had told TAC about it. Brett was like, yeah, Diego and the federation got into it at the training that we were invited to. Mm-hmm. And you know what's crazy? It wasn't Michael Cameraman. Michael Cameraman wasn't the one, because Michael Cameraman's always there.
Oh, no, we know who it is.
It's not Michael Cameraman.
But it's not Michael Cameraman, right?
No, Michael Cameraman actually saw my name on the list of invitees to the training, and he saw my name and he greenlighted my name. He was like, "That's cool. Like Diego can come. Diego's more than welcome to come." And then someone else from Greg's camp, who's closer to Greg, he's who had issue with me being there, and he got in my face and started talking all sorts of crazy stuff, you know. And I was like, man, I ain't gonna shut up, like.
Right.
I mean, y'all care about fucking money. Y'all shit the bed on the hire for this golden generation. Like I'm gonna keep talking about it.
Yeah, we won't use his name, but we know who.
Yeah,
he
you
is
guys
well.
know.
And our stance has always been we'll associate with whoever we want to associate with, and we'll say whatever we want to say.
Yeah, and I think
Federation has no power over us.
Right, and we'll see the same. I'm sure it's not changed tack or Pete a lick.
And you know what's crazy? What someone just said. Wes's dad and other players, agents, and family members, they're on social media and they say crazy things and they don't have issue with them. But when it comes to me, they have the biggest issue.
Wes's dad, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, but Wes's dad is just a wild card. But Wes's dad is also not around that much with the team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Wes's dad goes to like the big games and he's behind the scenes with Wes. He goes and visits him in Europe, but Wes's dad isn't really around the team. I think they just have a problem with me because I'm around the team a lot. Mm-hmm. And I'm categorized with them, like I'm associated with them. So it's like, okay, these are just parents. They're talking out their ass for their son's best interest, whatever. We can deal with that. That's normal. That's little league shit. But you're a guy that's heavily associated with our players, and you're talking mad shit about us on social media with a huge following of our fan base. Yep. And I'm like, okay, even more reason for me to speak out about you guys.
Yeah, right. Now I get you. I'm going to read Al's little 499. Not little. 499 is almost a reach around. Al Weinstein. Forward. Almost.
The extra penny would have put it over. Yeah.
Yeah. Brett will meet you in a park, a public park later. Al Weinstein says for 499.
I want to be put on the list. Yeah.
Forward Madison is one of the best branded clubs in the world. They've won best kits and are always in the running. What does Forward Madison have in common with Indy 11? One Peter Wilt.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Wilt does not fuck around when it comes to branding and logos. He does not fuck around. He brings in the best. Absolutely, period. That's why the Indy logo fucking kicks ass, and that's why Forward Madison logo kicks ass.
I mean, again, even incorporating the Chicago Fire emblem with the Chicago Fire soccer team would have probably been part of his decision since he was there from the get-go.
Yeah. Yep.
So incorporating something with the city into the logo. And that's why I brought up the Detroit one. I like the Detroit one. I like the Indy one because it incorporates something from the city right then and there,
Right. All right. So I'm glad we got that out of the way. And,
just to summarize all that, fuck the Federation, suck my dick. And Tack, if you're watching this, what's up, bro? Solid love. And me and Tack talked about it separately. Here's the thing. I could have easily went on social media and said something crazy. I didn't because I
no, that's smart.
I moved away from that. I moved away from the fighting, the trolling, on social. I realized that I do carry a lot of weight to what I say. Yeah. Now I'm not gonna hold back on things I firmly believe in, but I do realize what I say holds a lot of weight in this fan base. So I wasn't about to go start a war with Tag. I ain't got no issue with Tag. Like Tag's my boy, but I think someone was stirring the pot by initiating that I was talking beef or I was talking shit about him, and then Tack reacted on the spot because this was a live.
Oh, video. It's on live, yeah.
Yeah, it was live. So Tack's response was live.
Yeah.
So he read a comment, he responded live. He didn't really have time to prepare. He didn't text me or call me.
Yeah.
It was live.
Yeah.
Now, if it was something he read on Twitter, he probably would have texted me about it and been like, what's this about? But he didn't. It was a live video, and he responded how he felt he should respond, and that's cool.
Over the last couple of weeks. I mean, you guys have had it back and forth, so I figured that it was water under the bridge at that point. If there ever was beef, I'm just saying.
We talked. Yeah, I told him, man, it was a joke, bro. Like I said, you're selling out because he does not like the Federation. So I was like, yo, Tack sold out. But I knew
he got a nice woman's jersey from it though.
Yeah, so. He did get a nice little color rush jersey. That's a cute jersey, bro.
I think I told Tack, I said, that jersey seems to be saying something. It's saying maybe you're a little girly man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
this is how much we think of you guys. You only get the women's kits, not the men's kits.
Exactly. It's a sort of a kind of light smack in the face. Larry for $2 says Julian Green's dad is banned.
Julian Green's dad's a maniac. That's why.
Well, I didn't know that, but
when trying to guess the when you guys are like, I'm not gonna name who it was. People are obviously guessing in the chat.
Oh no, the name. You know what's funny? The name's in there. Somebody already guessed it.
Somebody wants to guess if it rhymes with queef berries.
No, we shouldn't even give hints. I don't want to do that. I don't want. We don't need it. Yeah, so we'll just pass on that. We'll talk about that in private.
Anyways.
Yeah. So Jose Reyes for $5. It's about money and control. If USSF was worried about the player's image, they would put a coach that could lead this team. Give me a break. Well, yeah, I mean, we all have been super critical of Greg, so yes, we get.
I don't think that was a typo. I think that stands for United States Fucking Federation.
Might be.
We talked about the coaching situation, and ultimately, I really think outside of just being a yes man and a organization guy, but the fact that they were going to have to compensate the women's coach for the same price.
Yeah.
Roughly about the same price. Let me rephrase that, I guess.
So, Spencer Doherty for $11.69.
Amen.
Giggity.
Amen.
If only USSF was run like the Ivy Tech, laughing my ass off. 29. Your boy dropped some dimes today.
That brother is cold. That brother is different.
Killer, man.
Huh?
When is West going to get a goal? That's
man, you know what?
I told him
the other day, I was like, bro, you need to work on your finishing. Because he had a chance the other game.
He had a chance today.
Yeah, he did. But the ball rolled in and he met it and he blasted it, but he blasted it straight to the goalie.
Yeah.
It was powerful shot. Goalie just pew. And I'm like, dude, you were running at it at an angle, full speed, whole goal was open, and you hit it straight to the goalie. And then the chance he missed today. It's like
it's killer. You know what? He's lacing those change of play balls and getting assists. I don't care, but he needs to bag one of those goals.
He does, and he's probably not going to score an open game goal. It's probably going to be a set piece. Like it's probably going to be a header, most like corner or set piece.
But he's had some headers. He just barely missed as well this year too. So,
but he's going to get one by the. He really should have 4 to 5 goals this season. But
those dimes today, come on, those were straight up Beckham fucking dimes.
Yeah, I've always said it. I've always said it, man. That dude has elite vision, man. He sees shit on the field that other players don't. Like he picks out the runs. He sees the runs coming in. Like he knows where his teammates are gonna be. Like I don't know that many players are gonna chip the ball into Malik in that first assist. Like other players would have played a different ball, and he saw Malik running in. And he chipped it right into that space, and it was just crazy. Like
I was gonna say, his second assist was nice, but that first assist was just beautiful, fucking beautiful.
He could have panicked because he was getting pressured on the ball, and he escaped away from it. And he could have made an easy play because West usually makes that simple pass right or left, because But he saw Malik running in, and he chipped it right there. It was such a good assist.
What's so amazing about it? It is a skill, the back shoulder pass, right on the defender.
Yeah, it's correct.
It's the kind of pass that used to be more standard back when Brett and I played that you don't see enough of anymore. And those were two dimes. It was
like 100 years ago, wasn't it?
For me,
hey, only 75 for me. Come on,
but very Pirlo-esque. Well put, BMR. Very Pirlo-esque. All right, let's talk about transfer news, right?
Well, we're already talking about Weston. Let's just go ahead and talk about Weston and
go
from there. We'll push the January camp back, and we'll get to that eventually.
Shout out my boy Miles Robinson, man. January camp. I guess there's no Miles Robinson fans here. Okay.
My background bled into my eye, and it looked like I had a tear running down my face.
Continue. Shout out my boy Miles, man.
Hold on, before we go anywhere.
Transfer news. Everybody loves that transfer news, but me. Yeah,
okay.
Didn't
what are you hearing about? What are you hearing about Weston? Because I know that Juve is looking to go into negotiations to extend his contract.
There's a full 180 on Weston, and first and foremost, I just want to say I hope the apology is louder than the disrespect.
Yeah.
We'll see how many zeros are added to that.
Well, I will say this. I believe Weston is going to be the highest played American player in Europe when he signs that paper.
That wouldn't surprise me because our previous highest player had to take a pay cut to go to Milan. So
because Christian had to take a pay cut, and don't get me wrong, Christian still makes a great amount of money per week. I just think I think Weston is finally at a place of leverage. He's always been at a disadvantage with his contract situation with his team, Leeds, Juve, bad showing at Leeds. Juve wanted him out, whatever. He's now has leverage. Like obviously he's a key player. He's a top 3 player on the team. I think he's the best player on the team. That's just me though.
I'd say consistent play.
So
yeah,
he's going to demand a number, and I believe Juve is going to have no problem giving it to him, and it's going to be in that Pulisic range. And I honestly think it might be a little bit more. By the way, from what I know, it's probably going to be a little bit more than Christian.
What's fun is that the bulk of I guess the commentary from the Juve fans that were like, "Oh, get Weston out of here, get Weston out of here," has sort of changed. There's still that little tiny pocket of people who say the same thing.
I think they've all came around. They've all came around. They've all came around.
Yeah, a lot of the we went over like the Juve English channel on X. And they're like, hey, who's your top 3 players for Juve? And like 90% of them. Of course, it's English channel, so it's probably predominantly US based or some Europe, I guess maybe, but 90% of it was all like McKennie was like the top 1 or 2, maybe 3 on some of them, but predominantly.
Well, and we've talked about the fact that
those big accounts, they came around.
When he demanded the loan to Leeds, I mean, because that was something McKennie wanted to do, that irritated some people at Juve. And then, people hold grudges, but that grudge is gone. He's come back. He's become an amazing performer, game in, game out. He's looks a lot fitter. He can go 90. He went 90 again today. He's not getting yanked at 70, 75, 76. He's going 90.
He got rested the other day.
Cup game.
Yeah.
So Ballo makes more sense.
He makes more money than what Pulisic is making.
Ballo makes more. Okay.
What's Christian's salary? Like $100K a week?
I think somebody said 99. I think Marsch like 99.
Okay, I didn't know.
Ballo makes 111. I guess.
Okay, I didn't know Ballo was making that. Yeah, I think Weston's going to be he's going to be above that. I think Weston's going to be in the 150 range. I'll be honest with you. I think from what I know personally, and I know what his team wants, what he's earned, what he's proven this season, I think he's going to be in that 150K a week range. And honestly, if they play their cards right, he could really get 200 a week. I'm being honest, but he's going to be in that 150 range. Yeah, I thought Christian was at 120, 125. That's why I said that. I didn't know Christian dropped all the way to 99. That's a big pay cut from Chelsea. By the way.
I'm going back up to take a look to see if I can find who said it.
It's all about Weston's agent, really. I mean, obviously, Weston's not in there negotiating.
At the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, you could be Weston's agent. I think you could get a good you could get a good amount of money for West this coming summer.
I would think so.
Especially because they're going to be rivaled by teams that are still interested in Weston, especially after this season. Mm-hmm. There is teams currently calling Weston's agent on a weekly basis, and Weston's agent is at the moment kind of just toning them out, just focusing in on Juve and what he has going on right now, and saying, the conversation, the conversation can be open, like the door can be open for that conversation. But Weston right now is committed to Juve, finishing the season, winning the league, getting some silverware. And then we'll talk about the summer when it comes, because he has a big summer coming up regardless. Copa America, contract extension on new club, Premier League interest. So he has a big summer coming. So they're kind of toning that conversation away. But when Weston's agent says, listen, this team in the Premier League is offering this amount, can you guys match that? That's what's really going to get Juve to pay that.
And you would be really surprised, especially after the Leeds, sort of debacle, which, Leeds fans got Weston all wrong because of that, that there are still Premier League teams interested.
Any competent front office will know that had really not much to do with Weston and more to do with Leeds.
The fans don't get it.
Yeah, the fans aren't the ones cutting the checks, brother.
Yep, exactly. But the other folks that have been out watching him play this season at Juve know that whatever happened at Leeds wasn't his fault. Like, that was a fucked up situation. Adams was out, injured. They went through how many coaches? I mean, come on.
4.
Yeah.
Well, and while Weston has had his first couple seasons with Juve were good still.
They were good seasons.
This year is by far his best season with him. And this is the form of Weston that we always want.
He's playing better than when he got hurt that one time. That one season where he got hurt and he had to get surgery. He was playing the best he's ever played. Man, he's playing far better than that.
Now, a handful of months ago when we talked about if we could take if we could pick a player from any generation of U.S. players, and there came down to Weston and Bradley, and I said I would actually take Weston over Bradley, even though I was a big Bradley fan. I think, Derek, you pushed back on me, and you said, well, and then I followed up by saying, well, it depends on which Weston we get. If we get this Weston, 100%.
But I think in that conversation, you're obviously comparing peak Bradley and peak Weston, so you don't want to. You can't really say which version of Weston we can get, because then I'm gonna say, well, we're talking about
Aston Villa Bradley. How about that?
We're talking about Toronto version of Bradley, which that guy stinks.
Yeah, right.
So you can't say that. We're talking peak Weston, peak Michael. I'm taking Weston.
Yeah, I mean, it's close because peak Michael at, say, Chievo.
I don't think it's close at all. When we talk about terms of ability, I think if you're talking about national team resume, yeah, Bradley has a nice little resume. But if you're talking about terms of ability, I think Weston is the superior player. It's not close.
Bradley was the boss at Chievo, and that's one reason why I have to hesitate a bit, because that his play at Chievo is what got him his transfer to Roma.
Roma, yeah,
and that. He may not have necessarily panned out as well at Roma per se, but
what I've heard on the discourse, I heard Bradley wasn't even that good in the Premier League when he was there either.
He didn't get to play.
He was there for 6 months at Aston Villa, and he didn't get to play much.
Yeah.
Well, I heard when he did play, he didn't do much. But that's the same thing as West. West played 6 months there, so same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, I mean, let's be fair. I mean, Bradley got there to Aston Villa. He was thrown to the Wolves immediately. Then they never played him again. So
he had a bad. He came in the second half. First game, then he had a bad second game, and then never played again.
Yeah, so there you go.
Opportunity.
But Wes is a different animal, though. Let's than Bradley. Bradley was more of the just a field general, right? Whereas and played a more defensive role. Where McKennie's box to box. Like, the dude runs endlessly. They're different players. So
someone told me today that Weston is the perfect defensive mid, and I didn't even respond to the comment. I'm just like, he is not a defensive mid.
He can do it in a pinch,
he could play defensive mid against a lower level opposition. He defends well enough. He tackles. He tracks back, but because he was a center back at some point, and then he plays a lot of right wing back. So I mean, he has those tendencies to defend, but he's not a defensive mid, man. You got to let Weston roam around and do his thing, and that's what Allegri's finally let him do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Colin, let me reply to your comment here. They are different players, so it's like different positions do matter. You're not going to compare Tim Howard to Brian McBride. They totally play two different positions. And when Bradley was at Chievo, he did not play anywhere near the kind, or was even remotely expected to do the things that McKennie does for Juve night to night, which is box to box to box, run. I mean, he's all over the fucking field.
Then why do we compare Ronaldo and Messi? They're two different players. They play on opposite sides of the wing.
But they're both attackers. Maybe that's a little closer.
I get it. Okay, and Bradley and Weston are both midfielders.
Yeah, but that's like comparing, for instance, like comparing Adams.
We said who's the better player.
Comparing Adams to Reyna, you can't do it. They're totally
okay. So why we comparing LeBron to Michael Jordan? One's a shooting guard, one's a small forward.
I don't make the comparison because I don't follow basketball at all.
Oh, well, people get listen, they're both midfielders. Who's a better midfielder? Who is a better overall midfielder? The answer is Weston McKennie, because
Weston is a better player overall.
Weston can play defensive mid. Weston can play center mid, and Weston, he's not a number 10, but he has played number 10, and he can create goals, as you've seen. Michael Bradley is a one-trick pony. I'm sorry. No disrespect to Michael Bradley. He's a
So
one-trick
one thing we've been
hold
hyping.
on now. He was in Gladbach. He scored a lot of goals for Gladbach.
I think he's a
and
one-trick
when he
pony.
was and Heerenveen.
Yeah.
Because he was playing a 10 at the time. Now he was reverted back to sort of field general later on. But anyhow, we're getting to the weeds. There's no.
Last thing I'll say on this whole thing is one thing that we've been hyping Weston up recently is his change of play from one side to the other, and it's lacing these beautiful 40-yard bombs to the players. Bradley was able to do that too until he came to MLS. Once he came to MLS, lost all of it out.
Weston been doing that, by the way.
Weston's better at it though. But
Weston been doing that, but a lot of times when he's done it with the national team, they don't really finish their chances.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
He's been doing it because I seen that firsthand on the first row at the World Cup in Qatar. He switched the ball over beautifully. One was offsides, I believe. One was offsides, and the other one, Josh Sargent couldn't get the finish. But man, Weston been doing that long ball game, man. He has elite vision. He knows how to pick up runs that the defenders don't see over the back shoulder, like you said. So,
let me hide the comment here, Colin. It's nice to see you in the chat again, man. It's been a while.
As far as Wasserman goes, I don't know how much you've been in touch with them lately, but I mean, can you tell us anything else about any other transfer news down the road you've been hearing about?
Are you specifying something?
Yeah, like Gio Reyna.
like my blonde friend. Shout out my brother Gio, man. Happy birthday. His birthday is a little bit ago, but recently turned 21. Shout out him.
New agent left Wasserman.
Man, listen. I've been telling people for months. Before any of this came out, I've been telling people for months, Gio is leaving. And people are saying, oh, he's going to get a loan in the winter. No, he's not. They're too hard-headed. They're not going to do it. They're going to sell him in the summer. He's gone. Like I've said this all season. When the season started and he wasn't playing that much and stuff really started unfolding behind the scenes when he came back from injury.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, he's just coming back from injury. Terzic clearly relies on him. He played him in Champions League. I was like, listen.
No.
I am telling you, me personally, I'm being told he's probably leaving because he's in the outs and there. People want to be optimistic about Gio Reyna because I get it. He's Gio Reyna and he's very important to the national team. But I'm trying to I don't know what people still don't understand. I am telling you that I know that he is going to leave. He's out of favor at Dortmund. Terzic is not a fan of his. He doesn't rate him that well. It doesn't matter what he says. Well, he just dissed him the other day about his his lack of defensive ability.
Yeah, I got into a large back and forth on his defensive ability too.
Terzic's in line to be the sporting director at Dortmund, by the way. I don't know if this is a breaking news, but Terzic's in line to be the sporting director.
Right.
So he has pull there. He doesn't have enough pull right now to just completely wash Gio Reyna away and say, yes, loan him out. I don't think ownership wants to do that. I think they want to keep him. But it's basically when it comes to Gio Reyna, it's there's people up in the higher ups in the front office that like Gio Reyna. But then there's Terzic, who manages the team, and he's in line to be the sporting director, who's just not a fan. So if you're giving Terzic the keys to the team, then you're going to let him make these decisions, regardless of how you guys feel about Gio Reyna, right? Even though you're higher than Terzic, it's Terzic's team at the end of the day, right? So he's not a fan of his. He's been out the picture for months. This isn't nothing new. The stuff with Wasserman, it's old news. Like, I know people reported a month ago. I've known about this for months. Like, I'm not really allowed to speak on it then. It was kind of behind closed doors. But he left Wasserman. He told Wasserman he was leaving. Wasserman scrambled to get this man a loan in December for January to try to keep him. They were offering this man to relegation side German teams. Relegation. Here, I actually have a message. Hold on.
Mainz.
I'll tell you right now.
Darmstadt.
But if it was a loan, I wouldn't. As long as there's guaranteed play, I wouldn't care if it's the relegation side.
Imagine telling Gio you're offering him to Mainz. This was, Friday, December 15th.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Wasserman was offering Gio to Mainz.
Yeah. I mean,
and other teams in the lower level, Union Berlin.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
Just to keep him on the roster because it just Wasserman was just freaking out because Gio's been wanting a move. Gio wanted a winner move alone. Wasserman hasn't been able to do it. Gio's been asking for a loan in January for months while he was still a Wasserman client. Because basically they had Gio and Dortmund had a conversation. Gio was not in favor of that conversation. It wasn't in favor of him. He's not really in the plans or he's not in the priorities. So Gio said, okay, I want a loan. Wasserman could not fulfill that. They couldn't get it done. They started just offering him to lower level German teams, panicking. And Gio was like, I'm not going over there. Like, I am not going to Mainz. Like, what the fuck is Mainz? That Ajax stuff was never a thing. I'm sorry, it wasn't. It wasn't a thing.
Wouldn't have been a bad move, though.
I'm not saying it's a bad move or not, but Gio has never had interest in going there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I don't know who Ajax is interested in. Ajax, I don't know who they are interested or not, but Gio is not interested in that. He's a Champions League player. You know, he's not gonna go to a team that's struggling in the Dutch league. He's just not. I know it's about playing time, but there's better places you can go. And this is only for 6 months, you know? And so they were just offering him to really bad teams and they were fucking him up. They're fucking his career up. Like, I'm just calling a spade a spade. Claudio told Wasserman, you're fucking my son's career up.
Yeah.
And you can't get it done. We're going to leave. And guess what? The feedback that they got in early December, because, you know, sometimes loans happen overnight in January, but loans are kind of premeditated and you're reached out from November, October, December, like, hey, we're thinking about moving on you on January. The feedback they got in those months when Gio expressed that he wants a loan was bad. They couldn't get it done. And so Claudio said, basically, you're fucking with my son's career, so fuck you. We're leaving. And then the news came out.
Yeah.
But this has been months in the making. They almost ruined this man's career.
Right. Now, of course, Ajax is stumbling back up the table now. So that's why I said it wouldn't be a bad move. They're back up, right? They were horrible, you know, a few months ago, but now they've been winning and they're back to not where they usually are, but close enough. But Sevilla, that's another rumor. I don't know what you heard about that.
I mean, I've always said that I think just from feedback, like I said, I've always winked at that he's going to go to La Liga most likely. Betis, Sociedad, Sevilla, teams like those. There's interest from some of those teams. There's a lot of interest from La Liga. I think he fits the mold. He fits the profile to play in La Liga. He's very technical, very skillful player. They play with 10s, even if they're not natural ones. Like, they play with 10s. So yeah, I think he's gonna end up in La Liga in the summer, as long as they can figure out his salary. Well, he's not on that much salary right now, but I know he's probably gonna have larger demands. But he's affordable.
It's also this rumor is also a loan too.
Well, I don't think there's gonna be a loan. I don't think there's gonna be a loan. I honestly don't think there's gonna be a loan.
Why wouldn't Terzic allow him to go on loan?
It's not Terzic.
Who is?
I think there's people and higher ups who just don't want to let him go. But I think at some point Terzic's gonna call the ultimatum and be like, I'm sorry, but he's gonna go.
But a loan wouldn't be letting him go, and you could still sell him in the summer. So you could at least put him out there. Like, if he goes to Ajax,
you could
he totally dominates.
Trust me, you're speaking logic right now. But for some reason, they're not even open to that. Like, they're not open to loaning him. I don't know why. Like, they've come out many times and said Gio's not in the market. They've said that multiple times, but cat's out the bag. He's definitely on the market now. And after Terzic kind of just said, oh, we don't play him that much because he has liabilities in the defensive side of the game. Cat's out the bag. You don't rate him.
Yeah. Ironically, his defensive liabilities happens to be better than his competitions.
Right. I saw that chart.
Whatever. I don't care when people were arguing like, well, you know, he comes in at the times when, you know, it's going to be more reliable. You're holding on to a lead, blah, blah, or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter when it happens. You know, his interceptions, his defensive abilities that are being recorded on sets are still happening. You know?
Yeah, it's a massive. I mean, all this complaints. Listen, does he look languid out there when he plays? Yes, but he's always in the right place. Like,
you know, that's Gio's game though. Yes. You know, no one. I don't ever compare them, right? But that's, you know, Messi has that little. He just walks around and it looks like he just jogging. I'm like, that's just how some players play. Like, they play with that little Plus, this is Gio we're talking about. You guys know what happened in Qatar. This man was not trying to run into the heat. So,
well, Messi even talked about that players should walk more during the game because they'll
conserve energy.
Well, the fact that they'll be able to see more, because if they're constantly running, they're going to lose perspective of the surrounding area.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah. So
this whole thing that you got to run. I mean, if that was all that mattered, then fucking Brendan Aronson wouldn't be having as difficult a time as he is in Union Berlin.
Shout out Brendan, man. My boy got to keep his head up over there, man. Shout out Brendan.
Is friendly. It's nice.
I mean, he scored a goal in preseason too, but dang.
That's what I told Brett.
Listen, Brendan's annoying to play against. He's a little dog in training. He's a little annoying. He's annoying. He gets the job done. But it just doesn't translate for him in the game. And so I feel bad for him because it just doesn't translate for him in the game because he's actually a really decent player in training. I've seen it. Weston's talked about it. Other players have talked about it. Like, he's a very decent player in training, and he actually scores goals and creates stuff in training with national team. And I heard at Leeds he would be there and create some stuff, but it just never translates on the field.
Well, yeah, this season, though, the great thing for Brendan, if you want to go on the positive end, is he has put himself in places for Union Berlin this season to score. He's just missed some sitters. You know,
very Weston-esque as of right now, these last 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, but the difference of Weston is chipping in everywhere else and giving assists.
Oh, sure, no, he makes it up.
Weston has the worst slug in front of goal. Weston has the worst slug in front of goal, but he's actually getting in position. Weston crashes into box and gets chances, and he doesn't finish them, but he makes up with it with an assist. So,
yeah.
Different story. Brendan's just unlucky.
In previous seasons, he's had no problem scoring the goals. I mean, he'd have like 5 or 6 goals, which isn't bad for a central midfielder.
Not bad at all.
So,
but he had no assist.
This season's been killer, man. It's just like, when is he going to get his first goal? Oh my god!
I think next season, when he's very happy with that new payday and very happy with his new cemented role, I think he's gonna get both goals and both assists. Because one season he scored goals but no assists. Now he's doing assists but no goals. I think he's coming up to that. Maybe he gets to 10 and 10. 10 assists, 10 goals. I don't know. Because he's always in the box. He's always either playing the ball in the box or he's crashing the box. So I think Weston can score 8 goals in the season.
Right.
I think he honestly can. He gets the chances. He just doesn't finish them.
Brendan's not going anywhere, by the way. There were a lot of the rumors that Union were going to end the loan or whatever. That's not true, because if that were the case, they wouldn't be playing him in the friendlies leading into the rest of the season. They would have already said, goodbye, Brendan, get out. Here's a ticket and go back to Leeds, please. So
I don't know what Leeds would do with him.
No, I don't either. I really don't. I don't know what Farka would do with Brendan Aronson at this point.
That last comment made me laugh. I'm sorry. That's funny.
All right. So, Brett, did you have any other specific slides you want to bring up about transfer news, or can I move on to other transfer news? Okay, you want me to read this? Yuri Dumi says, after an impressive few months at Ibar, what? Okay, this is it's Desi. Okay, so this is gonna be a joke. After an impressive few months at Ibar riding Pine, multiple clubs are keeping tabs on star winger Conrad de la Fuente. The Barcelona Academy graduate is being scouted by big clubs like Atalanta, West Ham, Ajax, Villarreal, and reported fee is somewhere between 10 to 15 million. Yeah, that's hilarious. I mean,
you're a dummy.
Here's the thing. You're a Yuri dummy. Yeah, I should have known right away from the name, but and then when I saw Desi, I should have known right away as well. That was going to be a joke.
Is our local troll who always posts fun stuff for us. And he comes up with the bingo cards too.
Yeah, Desi also does the bingo cards. So, good job, Desi. I think that if you're still a Conrad fan and you're out there, and I know he had one game this season where he scored for Ibar, and everybody said, well, not everybody. There were a few people who were like, yeah, see, he's going to be great. He's going to work out. No, it's not going to work out, guys. He's back to the bench. All right.
You got any more transfer news?
Oh, well, I mean, there are things that have happened. Do you want me to bring them up?
Shout out Miles Robinson. Hey, my boy.
Leave Cade out of the equation, though. I'll bring him up later.
All right. Well, Terrence Boyd, by the way, I only bring this up because of our friend Berliner.
Terrence Boyd.
Terrence Boyd has took a step down. He has been sold.
It's not Tyler Boyd?
No, Terrence Boyd.
Tyler's an MLS.
Tyler's an MLS. Terrence Boyd used to play for Kaiserslautern and had a magical season last season.
Okay.
Almost got them promoted, but now he's been sold to third Bundesliga team Mannheim. He's not had a great season this season, so I guess the writing was on the wall. Anybody remember Kenny Saif? He has been transferred to Maccabi Haifa.
He's an Israeli American striker.
Yeah, they're in Israel. Yep. Julian Gressel's gone from Colorado to Miami. Dax McCarty again moving.
I thought he retired.
No, he's going to Atlanta from Nashville. And then our good buddy Fafa Pakal is going to end up in Vancouver. No, he did not retire.
I could have swore he had a retirement announcement.
Nope, he did not.
All right. Fair enough.
If he did, he said fuck it. And
Atlanta's offering the monies, I guess that'd be the thing.
Right.
Give him more year. Fuck it, why not?
We talked about McKennie's good game. I'll just get this over with. Jedi also played this week and went 90 in a loss in the first of two games there in the Cup.
Way played also since we talked about McKennie already.
Wasn't done with Jedi yet. Tim Ream was on the bench, so that is a step up. So he's back from injury. He was available and in the 18, did not play. But Jedi had sort of a rough game after starting off like on the fly. I mean, he was great, but somewhere in the last 20 minutes of the game, he lost his concentration a little and got burned once or twice. Musa went 90. Pulisic went 90 in a loss. That was yesterday, unfortunately.
What a horrible PK call.
But I got to say, both of them played fantastic.
Yeah.
Both of them played fantastic. Really well. They weren't the problem. That was versus Atalanta. And then it was McKennie and Weah who went against Frosinone today. McKennie went 90, got those 2 assists. Weah 71. Weah looks like he's getting more comfortable, which I really am happy about. Like he looked a little stiff early on in the season. He's loosening up now. So those are all the Yanks Abroad midweek report. I could bring up that Kaylor Figueroa went 5 for Liverpool's U21s in a loss against Atletico Madrid. It's U21s. And then I think that is it. Yep, that's it. With the official transfers that are confirmed. And we can talk about Miles Robinson's move if you want to. You want to go to January?
No. We can talk about Miles right now.
I just want to shout out my boy Miles Robinson. He's just been getting a lot of heat. I just want to say, listen. my thing with him is interest does not pay bills.
Right.
You say this a lot. Interest. What does interest mean? What is following mean? What is you always joke about it?
Yeah.
What does it mean? It means that there's not a real concrete offer where you are able to be paid to play for this club. That's what it means. And so I don't know how these people, and maybe because social media, besides some accounts that you can actually put real human faces to it, there's a lot of younger teenage accounts. They don't really understand the business side of the sport. They understand the sport. They love the sport. More power to you. God bless you. But there is a business side of this sport that they don't really want to understand, or they can't understand because they can't comprehend it yet. They're not old enough, or they've never been in this position. Miles Robinson had interest from PSV because Ernie Stewart said, yeah, he's on our list. So he should have gone and signed for PSV. PSV never made an offer. I can confirm that. PSV never made an offer.
And it was never going to be anywhere close to what he got with.
And it was never going to be anywhere close to what he got. He got a little bit over $1 million. No need, I'm not trying to pocket wash, but he got a little bit over $1 million, and he's living in the States with his family. So besides that, PSV never made an offer. There's a couple of championship teams that were speaking to him, never made an offer. I think there was a lower table German team, never made an offer. Miles is used to making X amount of money in America. I think Miles has the same agent as Weston, and I don't think the offer didn't come in because of the demands. I just don't think the offer came in general because they just didn't end up choosing Miles as their center back. So,
Miles wasn't going to sit around and wait either because
and he's not, and he's not.
He saw the money and he said, "I'm taking this is a good deal, and I'm taking it."
Thing that I will shoot down with Miles and his agent, shout out Corey, that's Weston's agent, is that he had more money in Atlanta, but I believe that Corey thought he could get him to Europe to actually a good team. So he told him, I think they decided to not take Atlanta's offer during the season because Atlanta had that offer in the season of full what is it called, TMA or GMA, whatever the fuck it's called.
Damn.
He had a max offer, which is like shit, 1.5, 1.7 around there. Good money. The most he could get paid from Atlanta. But I believe his agent thought he could get him to Europe. But that interest never turned into anything concrete. So he passed up on Atlanta. I think the offer was off the table at that point, and then he took the next best offer, which was a little bit over $1 million in Cincinnati. So now when you're watching this at home, which one are you going to take? $0 in Europe or $1 million in America? Even if you're a fucking kid, which one are you going to take?
He didn't wait. My point about saying he didn't wait was that there's a long time to go in this transfer window, and Miles made this decision very deliberately and very early.
Like I said, all these moves in January are premeditated. It's rare that it happens overnight.
Sure.
You've been talking for months. If the offer hasn't came in months, Miles has been a free agent since October when the season ended. He's had 2 months of conversations with these clubs. If the offer didn't come 2 months ago or a month ago or 3 weeks ago, what makes you think it's going to come in a couple of weeks? I'm just being honest.
The big thing with him in that sense is, again, when it comes to the money, where else in Europe is he going to make whatever 1.2 million?
The championship, but the offers were
not even there. He wouldn't even make it there. I guarantee
the Premier League.
He'd be like 700,000 at max.
Yeah,
and anywhere in Holland would probably be like 500. I think 1,000.
And the Dutch league, he's going to make $300,000-$400,000, but he's going to play in a country that he's unknown to. But again, there was no offer from the Dutch league.
Right.
There was no offer.
There was a lot of courting going on, a lot of courting, but
that
not a lot of
bills.
Right. A lot of courting, but not, hey, let's actually go on a date now that I've been courting you. And you said yes. Nobody ever, made the final deal, made the final offers. You said there've been months for them. They've been courting him, but courting is, that's just
teasing. You're a flirt.
Right. It's a flirting date. There's not even light petting going on here. They'd even make an offer. So there you go.
I think Miles' offers were on MLS. Atlanta, Cincinnati. I believe there's a couple other teams in the mix, but I think Cincinnati gave the most. And there was interest. Don't get me wrong. There was. What I need people to understand is the people that are upset that he didn't go test himself. Where is he going to go test himself? There was not an offer for him to go test himself at. That's what I wasn't trying to explain all this on Twitter, but I'm like, guys, there's no offer. How can he go test himself?
Yep.
It doesn't make sense. How are you going to go on a date with someone that doesn't want to go on a date with you?
Yep. Yeah. Somebody's got to.
You're going to show up to dinner and nobody's across the table from you. What you going to do? Hold your dick? Eat your dessert? Enjoy it, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have a great day.
At some point, you got to move from the courting phone calls to the actual date, and that just never happened.
Over the shoulder action.
Right.
Rub your own shoulders, get a little tuggy,
The only one willing to give him a full-on reach around was Cincinnati, and they did it. So he took it, and
he was going to have there was other offers from the MLS. I don't think they ever came out because he took that Cincinnati one quick because he saw the price tag on it. So
price tag and a good team. It's a good team.
And a good team. And he's going to be with Matt Miazga, which I know Matt Miazga isn't the best out there, but in the MLS, that's a pretty
defender
good
defender of the year.
That's a great duo. Center back
and by those standards, that's a great duo, and they complement each other. So I'm gonna be watching. I don't watch MLS, but I watch my boys, so I'm gonna watch a couple games. I'm gonna go check one out. But Miles made the right decision for him and his family. That's all I gotta say. And he's getting paid well. $1 million in this economy is good.
The other thing to consider is that he plays a position with the U.S. men's national team right now where the depth is lacking. Quite frankly, because once you could go 4 deep while excluding Miles to an extent. But most likely Berhalter is probably not going to be excluding him in that 4 deep center back option. So maybe he felt, I'll make my payday, plus I'll have my spot, relatively speaking, still safe.
I mean, he has a spot on the national team still. I'm confused because there was players that Miles was chosen over in the summer that play in Europe. Must we forget that Miles got chosen over Trusty and McKenzie in the summer?
Yep.
It's a great thing.
What does playing in Europe guarantee you?
Well, if you're Greg, not much.
No, it doesn't. I need people to understand this. Greg simply has an all-European roster because these players are simply that much better than the domestic players. They're no-brainers, right? But when it comes to Miles specifically, there is center backs in Europe that Greg rates Miles over. So what makes you think anything's going to change?
Yeah.
Being in Europe doesn't guarantee you a spot on the national team. It just doesn't.
Well, not if you're playing at Genk, no. But if you're playing at Sheffield United for a whole fucking season,
and where was Trusty? Where was Trusty in these past 2 camps?
Yeah, I know. So that's the surprising.
Yeah,
at what point does Greg look at Trusty and say, "All right, dude, you've been playing the Premier League. I understand.
I get it, but what does that mean? You're playing that doesn't guarantee you a spot.
But he's playing well in the Premier League.
I don't watch. Excuse me, maybe he is. I don't watch Sheffield United. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not, unless they're playing Man City or something like that. I don't watch them, and I think he gave up 5 to Man City. Not him, but his team.
Yeah, well,
but not him. He can't brush it off like he had nothing to do with those 5 goals. But I'm not blaming on him. But
my point is that Trusty is gaining experience that I think is worthwhile. Now, yes, is Sheffield United really just a championship in the BPL?
The thing is, yes, they're going to be back in the championship next season. So
for sure.
If you didn't make the team while you were in the Premier League, what do you think you're going to do while you're in the championship to get on the team? Because when you're in the Premier League, you didn't even get called up then.
Yeah. Well,
now you're lower level.
We really don't know what Greg's standards are or what he's looking at or who he's watching and how he's watching and what he's looking for.
I think the European players he chooses are just simply no-brainers because they're head and shoulders better than everybody else available.
Well, as we found out with Greg in the past, he's got his favorites that he likes. Now, whether or not Trusty is head over shoulders as far as better than Miles in Greg's eyes is obvious. He definitely rates Miles higher.
Would there be a difference? Would there be a difference in the Sheffield United defense if you switched out Miles for Trusty every game he's played this season?
Yeah, it's just so hard to say because I really rate them not far from each other. Actually,
I think Miles is an athletic, decent on the ball center back. I don't rate him the highest. I think Miles Robinson is the 4th center back. Obviously, I'm big on Chris Richards. I'm big on Cameron. That's my boy. Ream, another topic. Man, Ream's on the downfall. I don't think he should be starting in the Copa America. I think you can keep him there for leadership, but
he's injured right now. Well, he just came back.
Yeah, but this season he hasn't looked all that hot. So, but shout out to Ream, good dude, and I know he still has it, but I just don't think he should be starting anymore. I think it's Cam and Chris, and then Miles is 4th to me. Like I think those are the 4 center backs.
As a Fulham fan, and I can tell you they have not really dropped. In fact, they've looked a lot better in some cases without Ream. With Tosin.
I saw those games where they scored 5 in 3 games in a row. I saw those games, and Ream was on the bench.
Tosin and Bassi have been good together.
There was Fulham fan because I follow some Fulham accounts because I follow Jedi. There's some Fulham accounts that are saying, well, we play better off the back without Ream.
Yeah, so, I don't know if they've got either of those two are better long passers than Ream, but what they are is faster, and they're bigger too. So we'll see what happens. We'll
see what happens with the center back pool. I just think going to Europe does not guarantee you a spot on this team. I know that 99% of the players right now are in Europe, but that's because they're head and shoulders better than everyone else available. It's not because they play in Europe. It's because they're just simply much better.
At the center back and goalkeeper spots,
but
you don't need to play in Europe right now to make the team.
Because Zach Steffen hasn't played in years, and he could still be our number 1 goalkeeper. And there would be not much of a difference, I'm going to be honest. There wouldn't. Just wouldn't. Like, Matt Turner is a really good shot stopper, but that's about it.
Well, Matt Turner, much like Steffen right now, is going through a little confidence issue. So we'll see how that works out for him. But
it's weird that our goalkeeper is having that issue.
I wouldn't be surprised if Zach is back in the picture, by the way. If he has a good season with Colorado, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, we'll see.
Has Zach and Greg buried the hatchet?
I don't know.
I think so. The thing with me is that one wasn't that personal. It was just simply Greg called Zach and said, "Hey, first of all, Zach got invited to the World Cup. You guys know this. It's known. I don't know if it's known, but Zach got invited to the World Cup, but he was invited as the backup. Right. And he thought, well, damn, I got you guys through 75% of this qualifying cycle as goalkeeper 1. Matt Turner has a couple games, and all of a sudden he's number 1. took that as disrespect.
I'd have to go back and look at the tapes to find out if it was 75%. But
I'm talking about
I'm
talking about from the end of 2018 to now.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I'm not talking about just the qualifying years. I'm saying Zach Steffen's been the guy since late 2018, early 2019. He's been the guy since then. So Matt Turner came in towards that.
Goalkeeper at Columbus and then went to Man City and he was still healthy at the time.
Yeah,
so we were several back injuries later.
We actually broke the news here about the Steffen and Berhalter phone call.
It wasn't crazy.
It wasn't nuts. He was just really pissed off and upset.
He was upset. And he says, if I'm going to accept this call-up, it's as the starter, not as the backup. Mm-hmm. And Greg said, well, you're not. And that was it.
Yep.
Zach said, I understand. Yep. And I said, and Zach politely declined. He said, he was hurt. So he said, I'm going to politely decline. It wasn't it wasn't a crazy conversation. It was like, I'm politely decline. I want to go as a starter. If you can't provide that for me, I don't want to go. Maybe that's egotistic from Zach and shows something about his character, but Zach's a cool dude. He's a nice guy.
That's not exactly how I heard it went. What I heard was basically Berhalter said, well, if you're going to come, you realize you're going to be number 2. And Zach was really upset by that. And then Berhalter said, well, listen, maybe it's better off that at this point, since you're not, we don't need any trouble. We don't need any debate.
Well, yeah, that's going into details, but I'm just saying, like, I'm paraphrasing, like I'm not going. Well, regardless, we're on the same page.
Yeah,
it wasn't a crazy conversation. He wanted to be number 1. Greg said, you're number 2. All right, cool.
He got upset. Greg said, then you probably shouldn't come in the first place. And then that was the end of the phone call.
From what I heard, it was Zach just declined in general after that. But it could be that. The little details you can, you know what I'm saying? But regardless, the main part of the story is he wanted to be the starter. Greg offered the backup role. He said nah, and they went there.
Right, exactly. You don't need that going into World Cup anyhow. A pissed off guy on your team who's already pissed off going.
There was a bunch of pissed off guys at that World Cup actually, but
whatever. Yes, exactly. He had enough to deal with already.
I still don't understand how Shaq fucking Moore was playing over Scally. Y'all see that quote the other day?
Oh,
I almost had a heart attack.
Yep, that was sometimes Greg doesn't know when to shut the fuck up.
We've got a desk replacement here for the Nations League with Shaq Moore being in this January Cup. Hoorah!
Yeah. Should we move
there's
on?
Probably 6 or 7 options better than him. I mean, Scally, Weah, Chris Richards, Weston. Before you even get into actual players that can play right back, like these are guys that can introvertly play right back.
Well, EBB played right back for us in Azteca for 15 minutes or whatever.
If you didn't call Shaq Moore to your 3rd string team in Gold Cup, why are you all of a sudden calling him up in Nations League finals?
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
Well, we're getting to that actually. Perfect transition. Jose Lopez, $2. Does Des know his Instagram a meme?
Oh yeah. Des eats it up, man. That's Des persona, because Des is very quiet in person. He knows that. I think he's a little so Des is a little socially awkward. He's very reserved too. Very nice human being. He'll always take pictures of fans. He'll always say hi to everybody. Always greets everybody with respect. But I think he's a little socially awkward. So he embraces his personality through his social media, because in person he's kind of just a shell of himself. Yeah. And none of this you see on the field, because when you see him on the field, he's a little feisty motherfucker. He'll get down. Yeah. But off the field, behind the scenes, he's very quiet. So he just likes to play on his social media. He likes to, give fans a bit of personality, because he doesn't really give people much off the field. So that's that. That's
we
that.
Saw his feistiness in Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh man, and you know why those players were that shocked, right? Because he doesn't show that. You would never think that about Dest.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you saw the Mexico game, but that's because he had no other option but to get to defend. The Trinidad and Tobago was so unprovoked that it just had so many people. I was shocked. Me and his dad talked about it. We're just like, what the fuck? Where did that come from? And he was like, dude, I have no idea.
Yeah, he just
everyone was shocked. His parents were shocked. He was shocked. Teammates were shocked. They were just like, what the fuck? Like, that's not Serge. And people were going on him on social media, and I was like, you guys don't know him. That's not Serge.
Yeah.
Like, he made a mistake. He took a little bit too far. Emotions were high. He was frustrated. Well, you guys don't know Des like that.
He just sort of snapped.
Yeah, much like our intro. I don't know if have you seen our new intro?
No, I didn't catch it. I heard someone make a comment. I didn't catch it.
We've got a video clip of a guy who's like, Gio Reyna should never play for the U.S. men's national team ever again because of his parents. And
those takes are the craziest things.
That's the same thing though. People are like, oh, Des should never play for the U.S. men's national team ever again.
I mean, just like they said, just like they said, West should never play for the national team because he was horny in Nashville.
Yeah.
Come on, man. He was 22 years old. He's a little horny. Who cares? Were you not horny at 22 years old?
Oh, believe me, there's some sanctimonious motherfuckers out there.
I know I was horny at 22 years old, baby.
There are some sanctimonious motherfuckers
and so
out there.
The Gio one, the Weston one, and the Surge one, those are three things that I've seen firsthand now. Like I've seen it play out now, and every time it just gets crazier. I thought the Weston was crazy. The takes were crazy on him. I thought the Gio one was crazy, the takes on him, and now the Surge one. Like I've seen these three things happen. They're so fucking crazy. These takes are insane.
Yep, I agree. So, are you gonna play this video, Brett?
Yeah.
All right.
Let me just go back down the chat. I was trying to see what Fumar was saying about the fire. I think it's important.
So, let me preface this by saying, unlike Jimmy Conrad, who's still living in 2003, and we love us some Jimmy, but Jimmy is, I don't know where his brain is, because back when Jimmy played, half the fucking team, or at least a good percentage of it, not more than 50, came from MLS. We're down to one MLS guy if everybody's healthy, and that's Miles Robinson right now.
Miles.
And the backup, maybe the backup keepers. We are no longer living in an era that this fucking camp cupcake makes any sense at all, Jimmy. Nobody's going to work themselves from this camp cupcake into the fucking U.S. men's national team lineup when everyone's healthy, or even if a few people are hurt. So it's useless. And thank God for Keller, because he says it.
I'll play just a second. There is a way to make Camp Cupcake relevant again. And that is making it a fucking youth window. Bring in U20s, bring in U23s. Who cares about a 27-year-old center back that has no chance? I'm not talking about Miles, but one of the other center backs that has no chance of cracking the national team at this point. What's the point?
Stop marketing this as the U.S. men's national team. Market it as the U.S. Olympic team, and have a little Olympic friendly. Don't call this the U.S. men's national team friendly, and then call in all these dudes who have absolutely zilch chance of ever making the U.S. men's national team. They're already 25, 26, 27 years old. Their time has passed. All right?
I'm sorry. We're not a charity at this point. We don't need to be giving these. By all means, I love the fact that they're passionate. They're there, of course, but we don't need to take a window to give shots for players who stand no chance at this point.
They're not even stars in MLS. Most of these guys.
What are you guys talking about, that January camp?
Yes. Aiden Morris is probably the only guy you might say is a star on
Aiden Morris.
On his team.
He should have just taken that Canada first team call.
Oh, yeah. He should have.
I get it. I get his motivation. He wants to play for the U.S. Man, where do you?
I respect him. I respect him.
I respect it. I would never shoot somebody down from taking up a challenge, but who in his camp told him that he has a chance to get in this national team?
Yeah, I mean, if you look
like the first team,
how deep our midfield is, he's got no chance.
Don't even worry about Moose or Weston. Where you compare with Luka and Johnny?
Right, exactly.
Are you ever even going to get to that level where you're La Liga starter or you're playing Copa Libertadores finals? Are you ever going to beat it? Probably not. And then
Probably
you go
not.
Tanner Tesman's on the come up too.
Maybe he thinks I'm only 21. I still got time. But well, if you do have some time, but boy, you've got to make some serious.
Do you really have that much time?
Well, I mean, the rest of the midfield are like 3, maybe 4 years older.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they've been playing in Europe since that age, and starting, by the way.
And some of them are younger than you, like Musa. So
And Johnny's 22.
Right. Yeah. So
Johnny's 21, 22.
It's going to be tough for him, but
Malik Tillman's there. Gio, I'm sorry.
Gio's taking a spot too. Yeah.
Yep.
Bro, shout out to him, man. He's fighting for his spot, but you got to.
I mean, McKennie and Adams are the ancient ones in the midfield at this point.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm Aiden Morris, I'm like, oh, Canada.
You know, it's crazy. You take Reem out the picture, and who's their most capped player is a 25-year-old Christian Pulisic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who's next? Weston McKennie, 25. You know, it's a young team.
Yep.
Jose Lopez for $2 says Tessman and Busio are better as well.
There you have it, and I believe it. I don't know about Busio.
I don't know about Busio. Sorry.
I met Busio a couple years ago, man. He's a cool cat. Busio's a cool cat. Tessman, he's a cool cat. He had that bad game that he got called up to with the national team, but I heard he's had a good season. So.
Oh yeah, he'll be in Serie A next season. Now,
yeah, he's had a good season.
Busio has had a rough season, even though he's had some good games, individual games. He's been on the bench, off the bench, back on the bench, off the bench. I mean, it's been a roller fucking coaster for him. He's in Serie B. He should be fucking dominating.
I think there's 10 midfielders over Aiden Morris at the top of my head. At the top of my head, there's 10.
Busio will also be in Serie A if Venezia gets promoted, right?
Who?
Yeah.
That word. That's a double-edged sword. So is Busio. But again, being in Europe does not guarantee a spot. And next year, when Venezia goes up and those two players are on Serie A playing and they're not getting called up, same story.
Even if Venezia doesn't get out of Serie B this season,
I think
he will be going to Serie A next season. Somebody will buy him.
Oh yeah. I heard there's a lot of interest on him.
Yeah, absolutely. But no such interest from Serie A teams for Busio. Just so you know, out there, folks. Just want to clear that up. But hey, that's fine. If you want to believe in Busio, you're fully welcome to do so.
Let's listen to Keller and see what he has to say about Aiden Morris never cracking the men's national team at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, look, I understood it a little bit more back in the day when MLS had almost like a 4-month break, and there was a lot more players on the national team playing in MLS. And
that's to Derek's point.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it made sense because you didn't want your national team players who are playing in MLS to have this massive long break before World Cup qualifying starts up again or it continues, So,
yep.
And so I understood that a little bit. I think now, and I think really over the last 10 years, it's almost been almost a disservice to actually call it a national team camp.
Amen.
Ouch, but true.
But true. Tell that to Jimmy Conrad, Casey.
That's true.
Give Jimmy a call.
It's like, well, this is the same argument we had when with Gold Cup and our famous viral flick. I mean, people hear it's a U.S. men's national team call-up window and players are getting called in. Well, here's the U.S. men's national team. Well, no, they're not really, are they?
No, they're the C team.
Yeah, you talking about mainstream media selling a dream that Jesus is the U.S. number 9. That's what you like.
Yeah.
Number 2 is number 2 on the list.
Oh, yeah. That's when I lost my shit.
Hey, speaking of that one, I know I wasn't around when the roster came out, but you guys found it odd that Jesus wasn't on that team?
No.
We kind of talked about it.
What did y'all say about it?
I didn't think it was because he already knows what Jesus is, and if you look at the majority of this,
but don't you know what Miles is too? He's there.
Yeah, but so a part of what they did was bring a few of the like Miles is a good example. They brought some of the older guys around who, as Greg likes to say, know how camp is run, know what our expectations are, etc. Jesus wasn't one of those guys that he thought would provide that leadership. Number one, and he wanted to see some new guys, and so we're seeing almost a whole brand new team actually, except for
I don't know who 3/4 of those dudes are.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, in comparison, Duncan had some like 13 or 15 goals that season for Orlando.
Duncan, I know who that guy is because he scored a fucking rocket this season. I remember that goal.
And then we've been talking about Brian White for over a year now.
Not that he should be on the team, but he is the best scorer, American, in MLS scoring goals. He scored more goals.
Where does he
play? Vancouver.
So nobody knows about him.
He used to be
score goals domestically. You get a chance on the national team. That's how it works, right?
Yeah, but people complain because he's 27 or whatever. That's fine. But I'm not surprised that he was included on this. Team? This is who's on the team? Yeah, that's what we got.
Man, there's some dudes on there that I don't know what the hell. Where did you come from?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't watch MLS like that either, though, so I don't know.
Fair, but I mean, but we're playing what? We're playing Serbia, right?
Serbia's B team. Remember last year was their C team. This is their B team.
Well, we can't bring Jesus in because we're not facing an island nation. Ergo,
That's true. You can't mess up his GA. You can't mess up his ratio. Shout out Jesus, man. He's one of those dudes that's living life in the States, man. He's making $2.5 million a year living in Frisco, Texas. Beautiful neighborhood, beautiful house. Got a nice little family. You guys don't understand it, but if him goes, not you guys, but I'm saying in general, him going to Europe doesn't change his stock because he's still behind Pepe and Balo regardless. And now Josh Sargent because he's doing well.
He's behind Sargent too. When Sargent.
So it's like if you're only so focused on going to Europe is to be on the national team, going to Europe doesn't change your position in the depth chart. So why would I go?
And I love that Jesus has been super honest about all this because when people are saying, oh, he's gotten this offer or his agents are leaking some bullshit, he comes out on Twitter and says, none of this is true. I've gotten no offers. This is all horse shit. So don't believe any of it.
When all the Napoli conversation came out,
that was crazy.
You said Wasserman did it, or I don't know if his agent did him dirty on that one.
Man, listen, there's parts of Wasserman that I generally enjoy, and there's parts of Wasserman that I don't enjoy. As a whole, I can't categorize the whole company by one person or two people. Like Weston's agent, he's a cool guy. Corey, he's a cool dude. Other people in the company, there's just some donkeys there. Why would you leak that Napoli's interested in Jesus? You're setting your client up for failure because no one's gonna fucking believe that.
No,
like please say that the team that Ochoa plays at leak hit their name.
Yeah,
or Genoa where Vasquez plays at, Johan Vasquez, like leak one of those lower level teams. Don't believe it because high potential, low risk player with Jesus. Like he does have potential, but he's low risk because why not leak one of those teams? Why did you shoot for the stars of Napoli?
His agent was actually just looking over his page and he saw that somebody from Napoli had
clicked
on it. He's like, oh shit, they're interested.
He Googled teams in Italy. Oh, Napoli. Okay.
There we go. So are we going to head now to the interview or what are we doing here?
Do you want to finish this up at all? Or we got the gist.
Yeah, we got the gist. We're good.
Yeah.
No need to, no more filler of Keller filler, but Keller at least was honest. Whereas, Jimmy's totally blindsided by his own personal experience and doesn't realize things have completely changed and that his experience is not going to happen again, not going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow,
let's bounce into the dual nap conversation here, and I'm gonna start this off with a fun exercise, not actual exercise, but something we can do before going into this.
Okay.
This is a question provided by our own Larry. So Larry wants to know if Davies is the greatest North American footballer ever, and he has an answer. He's posing the question.
Who? Alfonsi?
Yeah.
Best North American player ever?
No, it's not Davies. It's Hugo Perez. Mexico. Hugo Perez.
Sanchez.
Oh, did I? Oh,
yeah,
shit.
you were saying you threw me for a loop and like
Hugo Perez is the Salvador. Is the
I know. I mix them up with the American.
Hugo Perez is an American Salvadorian coach.
It is Hugo Sanchez.
Which, by the way, Hugo Perez, man, bring him on as his assistant coach, but that's a whole different conversation.
No. Hugo Perez never played in Spain, or he might have actually. It's Sanchez. Hugo Sanchez is the best North American.
Yeah, Hugo Sanchez is one of Real Madrid's most all-time goal scorer. By the way,
exactly.
He's definitely the best CONCACAF player of all time.
I would agree with that.
Now, if Davies goes to Madrid and wins like 5 Champions Leagues and gets in that conversation, maybe.
I like Keylor Navas. He's probably the greatest goalkeeper. He's probably the best goalkeeper from North America.
I think he's top 5 when you talk. He has the best club resume in CONCACAF history besides Hugo Sanchez. They're both Real Madrid players.
Well,
I get it,
don't forget this guy.
But no, I just have to say, but Hugo Perez actually played.
Hugo Sanchez.
When I said Perez again?
Sanchez,
God
bro.
Damn it. Sorry.
Don't disrespect my Mexican legend.
Sanchez at least played. Navas has wrote
way too. Navas played too. What do you mean?
No, he's wrote a lot of pine.
No, I get it, but Navas at his peak was a 3. has 5 Champions League, which he started in, right? He started in 4. He won
I
3
get
in a
it,
row.
but I
He
don't
started
think
in 4.
I don't
He
think
won 5.
I don't think he gets better than Sanchez though. I'm
not saying that. I'm just saying he has the best. He has the best North American club resume of all time. He does.
I thought you were putting him above Sanchez.
No. Okay, Sanchez is the best player that comes out of this region.
I agree.
Yeah.
Larry says it's Dwight York.
Or if it's me, it's Hugo Perez. Because I can't seem to get that out of my brain. No, it's not Dwight York. He's had great seasons, I think. I mean, obviously in the Premier,
123 goals in EPL and 375 games.
Wasn't the EPL yet?
Man, one season in the EPL is not doing it. These people don't understand what Hugo Sanchez did. This man is like top 5 all time in Real Madrid scoring.
Yeah, I'm still gonna have to go. It's close. Dwight York is definitely up there, but it's still Hugo Sanchez.
Sanchez or Sanchez?
Sanchez.
Sanchez.
Kevin's asking about Rafa Marquez.
No.
Hold on. Again, another Mexican, by the way.
Come on.
No. Very great player.
He was.
Has a lot of trophy wear. Honestly, let's do top 5.
What about Soto at Porto?
You do top 5. Sanchez, Marquez, and Chicharito are 3 of the 5. Keylor Navas is the 4th.
I would put Navas second.
I put Sanchez 1. I put Navas 2. I put Marquez 3. I put Chicharito 4. And then the 5th one, you guys are a little bit more educated with history of North American players.
You know, just get biased and say Pulisic can be 5th. But, you know,
He hasn't done enough.
I wasn't ready for a top 5.
No, but I'm just saying, like, a fit, like, those are, I think, my clear-cut 4 best players. So I'm saying Marquez is in the conversation. Marquez is not the best, but he's in the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, you got to put Dwight York in there somewhere in the top 5.
Who's that?
Dwight York?
Yeah, who is that?
He had an amazing career before the EPL was the EPL. He played for Manchester United. Great player. Scored tons of fucking shitloads of goals. Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit, Trinidad and Tobago is not North America. That's the Caribbean, bro.
It counts.
Okay, so his question was CONCACAF, not North America. Then he just
Yeah,
you're right. Because North America is Mexico, Canada, USA.
The Caribbean's not really North America.
That's what I'm saying. I think he meant to say CONCACAF.
Navas would have been excluded there too, then, because we were talking about a Costa Rican goalkeeper.
That's true. Yeah,
Costa Rica is part of North America, not the Caribbean.
You just said Mexico, United States, and Canada.
Costa Rica is a part of North America, though.
Well, wait a minute. They call themselves Central. They call themselves Central America.
Real? Okay. Well, shit.
I consider it part of North America, quite frankly. When we talk about
that's CONCACAF, but not North America.
Well, in the old CONCACAF, in the old setup for the qualifications for the World Cup, North America was considered Canada, the United States, and Mexico. That's it.
Okay, Chris Gary with the geography lesson saying the Caribbean's part of North America. Shout out Chris Gary, that's my guy. Shout out Chris Gary.
I don't know where you draw the boundary lines, but the pitch.
Where are the borders?
Shaka Hislop definitely had some great moments in the Premier League with multiple teams.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to consider the Caribbean as part of North America, I'd be willing to add him in there too. Worst North American TV personality, though. Worst North American TV personality.
Here's the problem with this is that I only really know American personalities.
I don't know the Mexican pundits.
How about worst American TV personalities? I'm assuming he's talking about soccer. How about the one dude from Canada that was like talking like we're not going to let Mexico and the United States come up here and take points out of this one.
Those T. What is the network in Canada? T something TFC
or TUDN?
No, that's Spanish speaking.
There's a big Canadian network. They host all the games. T something, but. Yeah, they got some crazy personalities up there, man. They be talking rubbish.
Jimmy Fallon.
They be fucking yapping.
I don't know. I think we had the worst. We had the worst something earlier in our awards that we did in the new year, and I can't remember who won the award.
Donovan won it.
Oh yeah,
he won it overall.
Landon Donovan.
We did the 30s where we did our own awards, like, hey, who's the worst U.S. pundit? You know,
Landon Donovan.
It was Landon Donovan this year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for that Christian Pulisic comment.
Right. And the dual net.
And the Weston and the dual net. I mean,
he was. That's why Jermaine Jones almost beat him up one time. By the way, I don't know if y'all know that. Jermaine Jones wanted to beat him up one time.
No shit. Makes sense.
Yeah. True story.
but then Pulisic came out in another interview and said, "I'm not talking about Jermaine Jones, though. He was great. It's the other."
Yeah, of course you got to clear that up because Jermaine Jones wanted to beat him up.
Yeah.
You can't really include Matt Doyle because he's not really on TV.
That's a great point. Yeah, and he's on some MLS shows on the interwebs, but
and keep in mind he's paid to shill, so he's going to say
Doyle. If you said worst Twitter account of 2023, Matt Doyle's up there. Doyle, Colin Reese. Who's that former soccer player who's just crazy?
On there.
Who's that crazy dude? That ex-soccer player, the U.S. soccer player? The one who always has outlandish takes.
Lexi Lawless?
No, him too, but who's the other one? Who's the crazy guy? No, he's not really he's not that good. He lives in Las Vegas.
Oh, Eric Ronaldo.
Eric Ronaldo, dude, he's up there. That dude's crazy too. That dude is.
I like Ronaldo.
That dude be yapping. I know. Meanwhile, me and Eric have DM before, and he just be yapping too. Like I know I yap. Listen, I know I'm a yapper. That guy be yapping.
So the thing about Eric is you get a lot of truth there with all the.
Some of his shit's crazy though. It's outlandish.
Some of it is, but there's always a grain of truth somewhere in there in the Winalda stuff.
I mean, even a broken clock is twice right a day, right?
Yeah, he got quite a bit. He got quite a bit right about the whole Reyna and
no one is discrediting his information because it's like me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, but I call a spade a spade. I know I be yapping, and I know I have outlandish takes. I put Winalda in that category. No one's saying it's bad. I'm saying he's a very outlandish person.
Yeah. As someone who's had old school conflicts with Winalda in the past, I can say this at least: he doesn't hold a grudge for 10 years.
there's a limit to the grudge.
Listen,
right?
Listen. People who speak the truth will always look crazy. It's true. When you speak the truth is very unfamiliar to people, so you come off as crazy, but really you're just speaking the truth.
Right.
People think Herc is crazy these days, but Herc just be speaking the truth.
Yeah, Herc's far from crazy.
Yeah, but they think he crazy. Man. Herc just honest.
I guess. Chris Gary says 29 just cost any chance of Winalda coming on the show. No. No, he didn't. Eric doesn't care. Although that was unlikely anyways. It's not really unlikely. It's just that we haven't found the right time. But we're working on it. And also, if I'm going to have Eric on the show, something needs to be happening in U.S. soccer, right? We could cover all the same shit again about media and how shitty they are and how much the USSF sucks. I mean, we could do all that. But I'd rather actually...
Yeah, I was going to say that. I feel like Attacked and Pete have already covered that aspect with him.
I just want to bring him on when something really nice or juicy happens. So we're not out of contact. Like I said, he doesn't hold a grudge for 10 years, thankfully, and we're beyond and past that at this point.
Thanks to you, Rick.
We'll work on that. We're working on the show. If we're going to have him on, I'd like to have him on when there's something to talk about, like something big. All right. And so does he. All right. What else we got? Oh shit.
You mean like when Greg gets fired after he fucking lays the egg in Copa America, or no?
You know what? Even if Greg lays an egg, I don't know if Crocker will take him out of the.
It's not really Crocker's decision.
But he has some say. I mean, BJ leans on Crocker quite a bit, and so will Cindy for that decision.
Cindy don't do much these days, man.
Well, she's got the whole thing to think about, right? She
oversees, but she's not making decisions like that.
But that will be a decision she will have to be involved in with.
Oh yeah, because you're the president, of course.
Right, with Crocker and BJ. If we get to that point,
JT there.
JT, who did I say? BJ? Oh my
God. Who's BJ? I was like,
He's our former.
I was like, did they promote BJ to the?
I'm fucking
the
up all kinds of
management?
shit tonight.
With
Perez,
how well he
Sanchez.
performed, as a national team coach.
Hey, dude, you're like me and names, man. You're all over the fucking place, dude. I said Trinidad and Tobacco earlier.
Oh my God! But
Trinidad
that's
and Tobago,
yeah.
man. I said Trinidad and Tobacco. I said Ajax instead of Ajax or Maines, Mon, whatever the fuck is in it.
Yeah,
I'm
mine
Mexican.
instead- yeah.
I'm just a Mexican from LA, man.
Mispronunciator of names.
Listen, y'all know English not my first language. Stop hating on the boy.
Yeah, it's not even mine either.
You have
All
no
right.
excuse either. No, you have no excuse.
No,
I have
it's not
none.
my.
What's up,
It's not my first language.
What's your first language?
My first language was German.
Your first language is yapping.
It is now.
Your fucking first language. Yeah.
We talked about this last show actually. How the English language is a tough language for people to learn because even the people who speak it don't know how to speak it.
Yeah, exactly.
Ain't that right?
So we're gonna bounce into the dual nat topic. We have I don't know if you have this issue with the Mexican national team, Diego, but anytime there's a dual nat, whether it's a Mexican American, a German American, whatever, U15 player, people all of a sudden just start losing their mind. They're like, "Oh my God, we got to call him up now, cap him."
Dude, I don't comment on the dual nats as much as I comment on rating young kids because that's more of my issue. Man, but the things that I tell myself in my head when I see people go crazy over the 14-year-old who has whose grandma's uncle's cousin is American.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm like, why are y'all so crazy? Like, this is not ancestry.com. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is not. Like,
We talked to a 15-year-old on last show actually, and saying like, "Oh my God, we better cap him, guys."
Cap him, call
Y'all
him
remember?
in.
Y'all remember? You know what the craziest thing I saw was when that Inter Milan wonder kid, the 16-year-old or the 17-year-old, came on the field and someone said that he was American eligible because it was on Football Manager that he had an American flag or something. It's just I always see something crazy when it comes to doing that. It's like the craziest relation to the country that this certain player has, and I'm just like, it gets crazier every time. They lose their minds. It's because they're looking they want so badly they want the first ever American superstar.
It gets particularly bad with the Mexican American players. So it's like, we got to cap Brian Gutierrez absolutely immediately. Or
you want to know something? If the U.S. loses Guti, nothing changes. Yeah. Realistically, in the grand scheme of things, what changes?
Right.
He's not playing right now for the national team. He can't even get a call up to Cupcake. Can't even get that.
That's the thing with Chicago at this point.
No, but that's okay. He wasn't released. But in prior camps that he was available, he didn't get called up. So I'm saying he just had his best MLS season so far, and he didn't get called up.
He's not going to get called up to an actual U.S. men's national team camp, whether it's like the Nations League. Let's use that as an example. He's not going to get called up when it's the big boys coming in because again, he is 20 years old playing at Chicago.
But I'm saying there was the Gold Cup, and he didn't get called up.
He wasn't released. He wasn't released to the Olympics.
Okay. Why are they holding this man hostage?
Because they're fucking
Chicago.
Idiots. They're idiots. They wouldn't let Brady go either. They wouldn't.
Okay, but regardless, I think my point stands. Regardless, if he gets released or not. If USA, because you brought him up, if USA loses Guti to Mexico, what changes for the national team?
Not much.
You can't.
Nothing changes.
You can't cap every player.
No, you can't. I agree.
But people are like, we got to cap Obed Vargas. We got to cap Diego Luna. We got to cap this player.
If you lose Obed and Guti to Mexico, I promise you, the sun is still gonna come up the next day.
It is.
Obed's a good player. I seen him play in person, man. I seen him play in person recently, and I seen him at the World Cup. He's a good player. He's young. My friend is actually his agent. He's a really good player. Guti is a good player. But if you lose him to Mexico, it's not the end of the world for the national team. USA's pipeline is kind of deep right now, especially in the midfield.
So if I were to list out over the last year, the list of players that people have said we got to cap them now or we got to call them up, it would be a long list. But they do include Guti, Luna, Vargas, Lyndon Gooch, like he's got any.
At the time, Jogo.
We did call up Lyndon Gooch. I don't know what that. Who's calling for that shit?
Who's calling for Gooch?
He called good stuff.
He had a good season at Sunderland, didn't he?
Is he capped?
No, he didn't get called up.
No, he's not capped.
There was rumors that he was going to. There was rumors he's going to go to the go. There was the rumors that he was going to be part of some camp, but he never even called up. Oh,
he did get called up.
They said there was rumors that he was going to be the Nations League or the Gold Cup because he had a good season at Sunderland, but it didn't happen.
So he's back in before Nations League. No, he's played for the U.S.
But he's got no chance of playing for England, so why are we worried? That's my point. Leon Flack, people were saying when he came to MLS.
German American, gotta get him now.
We had people freaking out about Slanina, Puxtas, Marlon Fossey. These were all dual nats. Ben Kermashi at one point.
Who wasn't also called in this Camp Cupcake.
Right. Jack McGlynn, he's a dual nat. Quinn Sullivan's a dual nat. Ben Kikanovich, for of all people. And I'm just going down the list of people they are freaking out about. Timothy Tillman, seriously?
That guy stinks. Man, he got that American passport, and they're like, "Oh my God, this raises the floor for the national team." No, the fuck it doesn't.
Yeah, he had started off real good this season,
and then he decided to talk shit about Leon, and he got manhandled.
Augustin Anello is another people. More recently, people are like, "Oh, we got to cap him. We got to cap him." Why?
There's one player that, and USA is not in control of the U.S. situation, but there's one player that they really need to prioritize, and they haven't. And to me, it's Luka Kobayashi. I think
people are talking about that.
Yeah, that's probably a good, sensible one to.
That's a sensible one because he actually makes sense. He's senior team level, and his position in the national team lacks depth. So that makes sense. But all these other guys, I'm like, who?
So
Dante Polvara was another one at Aberdeen.
I did want to actually talk about a Mexican American that the U.S. did miss out on, and I wanted to get your take on this, Diego. It turns out Araujo got a 4-game suspension for his headbutting of the player. Did you see this?
That was weak sauce.
That was weak, man. That's at most 2 games. If you really want to, it's really 1 game. But if you want to be crazy, give him 2 games. But 4?
4 is crazy.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I've seen people punch and slap each other and get fucking 2 games.
It was the lightest of head nudges of it. It wasn't even a butt. It's just like I'm getting up in your face.
Dude, they be giving outlandish suspensions over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, one other player that nobody's mentioned to cap yet, but is eligible for India, is Kaveh Zahiroul-Islam.
I've never heard that name. Never heard that.
Don't worry, neither by Diego.
Oh no, he qualifies for Iran. My bad, Iran, and he plays at St. Truden, and he was playing actually and starting and scoring goals for St. Truden in Belgium this season before he got injured. So.
Listen, I don't understand the whole going crazy for doing ads, man. Every day there's a new American on Ancestry.com that can play for us. And
Ulysses Lanez, remember that? And what's Ulysses Lanez doing now?
Hey, apparently he's making his way back to PSV. That's what I've heard.
No, he's not.
Is that the one?
Ledesma.
Oh, that's Richie.
Yeah, Ledesma ain't going back to PSV.
Was
stuck at Wolfsburg.
Wolfsburg, yeah.
And he's been there since he got back from St.
Speaking of Wolfsburg, free my boy Kevin Paredes from Wolfsburg, man. Free that guy.
He's playing.
Man, that dude that plays in front of him, number 23, the other wingback, he ain't that good, man.
Well, that's why he's got a lot of playing time this season.
Not enough, though. He need to be playing, starting some games. Dude, he comes in and plays 15, 20 minutes.
He's a kid. But no, he got some starts mid-season here. So
if I paint a picture of somebody here, let me see if you guys can guess who I'm talking about. I've got a dual nat up here that people were hammering on as far as capping, and at this point he is capped. But he's Mexican American, doesn't speak Spanish, and he was vying for his Mexican citizenship. Who are we talking about?
Oh, you're talking about Cade Cowell.
Cade Cowell. There was a time before he was
when you said
they're like,
when you said Mexican, I thought you were going to say Fidel Barajas.
Oh, he's next. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. He's good.
No point in worrying about Cade Cowell.
Ain't nobody fucking worried about Cade Cowell.
Now, you talk about a one-trick pony, and we've said it here before.
Listen, Cade Cowell, more power to him. He's about to be a very wealthy man in Mexico on the finest beaches of Guadalajara, Jalisco. More power to you, brother. But
is he going to
play? That's where it ends right there. That's where it ends right there for that man.
Is he gonna play at Chivas? Because I think he's going to struggle to play.
Oh, he's gonna play. He's gonna play. He's gonna play. They're losing Alexis Sanchez. He's their Alexis Sanchez replacement. He's going to slot right into that right wing. Day one.
Right wing? No shit. He's a left winger.
Oh, left wing. Whatever position Alexis Sanchez plays. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, if you play Cal anywhere but the left wing, you're
wherever. Or you know what, Chivas. I've seen Chivas play Zendejas at right back and at center mid before when he was younger.
America?
So, yeah, Zendejas.
Yeah.
He played right back. He played defense and center mid. So Chivas, they do whatever the fuck they want. Like, so Cade Cowell could be a left winger. He might fucking play center back if Chivas says you're gonna play center back. So
there was a lot of talk of him getting pushed back to playing wing back or just back in general.
Because he has that athletic build. Like he's fast.
Yeah.
Quick. Like Adam Traore, the guy, the really fast guy in the Wolves, or he was with the Wolves recently. That guy.
I wish Cade all the best and hope this isn't, but yeah, it is what it is. So
yeah, I wish him all the best. He's gonna be a wealthy man. I hope he enjoys his life in Jalisco with all the beaches and women.
Oh, he'll enjoy the women for sure.
Yeah, they're gonna enjoy him. They're gonna enjoy him.
He's a good-looking kid, I guess. So there you go.
I was gonna make the joke of the sell-on percentage, but it's possible that they sell him to another Liga Mexi team.
Maybe. All right, what's the next one, Barras?
Yeah. Oh no, never mind. This is a different guy. It's Cuevas.
Oh, Cuevas. Again, I'm an LAG guy. Okay, this guy was not a regular starter. Didn't get a whole lot of minutes this season. Not the starting right back for LA, and now we're worried about him. Switching to Mexico. Okay, no, I'm not. And number two, we're worried that all the Mexican teams are buying up our best players. He's not one of our best players.
We got done playing with the U20s in the Olympics and qualifying, or Olympics and U20 qualifiers, and I believe he was called into the U20 World Cup, was he?
He was fine. He was fine.
But my point is, outside of the fact that there's a Mexican national flag next to his bio, what indication do we have to be concerned with him opting to play for Mexico over US?
None.
Cuevas?
Yeah.
None. I'm not worried.
There's a good. Yeah, do you guys know the Colombian center back, Colombian American center back, or Ecuadorian? He plays in Vancouver. He was a U20 starter for the Colombian national team at the World Cup. Pretty good. Anyways, he's one I think the U.S. should go for.
I stressed over losing Efren. Yeah, I mean, listen, if I saw something sparkling amazing out of Mauricio Cuevas, I would have said it. But I think he's going to end up being a very good player. Is he U.S. men's national team quality player? It's too early to tell, but I doubt it. The percentage of chance that he becomes becomes good enough to challenge Dest or Scally for that spot in the coming years is quite small.
Those guys are playing in Europe and Champions League at 19, 20 years old.
Exactly.
Well, and I going back to the qualifiers and U20s, I liked what I've seen from the kid. But the big difference here is I don't necessarily even rate Tolkien that high. And he's 1 year older and had 4 goals and 11 assists or something like that this season for New York. It was some ridiculous amount.
And he can't challenge for the left back spot.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. It's nice to have depth options if Cuevas ends up showing up, but that we have to see it, I guess. Why worry about a player who's not necessarily even a consistent starter at a club at this point?
Who, me worry? No, not. And people need to stop worrying. Except for, as we brought up earlier, one player that plays at West Ham named Koleosho. I'm just not going to waste a whole lot of time on youth prospects who have yet to sparkle at the age of 20. 20 is not 16 or 18 anymore. That's 20 years old. You should be battling for a starting spot on a team as poor as
as
the Galaxy.
You shouldn't be stressing over guys who have no future on the national team. And you're like, oh, you never know. You can't keep saying you never know for every fucking prospect.
Right.
There's only 23 jerseys on the team.
CAC says highly rated dual Nat Fidel Barras will sign with an MLS team from the Western Conference. The team will be revealed soon. He had offers from Europe, but opted for MLS. Why would you do that? Fidel is a starter for the Mexican U17s and stood out in USL last season with 4 goals and 11 assists. He is still open to represent the U.S. men's team. I'm not losing any sleep over Fidel.
No, but he's also probably going to play for Mexico.
Right. And he's already kind of made his choice already, right? So I'm not recruiting him. I'm not calling his parents. I'm not doing any of that. Just let this kid develop.
There should be someone's job solely for that.
Oh, they used to have guys that did that, and I hope they've hired some more because we need them when that's necessary. But he's a 17. What is he? 18 years old now?
17.
Yeah, it's too young.
He's pretty good. That's why. But
I mean, we'll see how he does in MLS. But why he didn't go to Europe? That's just beyond me. Maybe it wasn't a very good European team.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to Jogo's stats with Louisville in comparison because he had 4 goals and 11 assists.
Jogo's a defender though.
Oh, derp! I don't know why I was thinking.
Fidel Barajas is a
back on
winger, scoring winger.
Yeah. I'm still stuck back on Cuevas, I guess.
Listen, Fidel could turn into an amazing player. But how many of these players over the last 10 years have we covered that didn't amount to a hill of beans, and they were highly rated? And I quote. I mean, you just can't get that excited this early. You just can't. So, all right. Are we moving on? We got to move on because it's 2 hours in.
This is only a 30-minute show, Derek. So, Diego, have you watched the interview of Jesse Marsch talking about his time at Leeds, or just time in general? I guess.
Yes.
Recently came up with Simon Jordan.
Right. And believe me, Simon Jordan, I will give, before we start, Jesse Marsch some credit for going on this show because this guy is an infamous hard ass and he does not pull any punches, and he didn't pull any punches here. And you're welcome to stick around for this if you want. If you don't want to, you don't have to, obviously. We're 2 hours in. So if you don't want to stick around for this part, you don't have to.
No, he just has some crazy stuff, though. Who was it about? Oh, it was about transfers, though.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can pitch in at that point, but we're going to start off at 14:35. This is a theme in this interview that gets really annoying from Jesse. Nothing is about Jesse. It's always we. And that's fine. But you're a fucking manager of the team. At some point, you are ultimately responsible. But this little vignette he does here at the beginning is just sort of a hint at what we're going to hear about 1,000 more times through this interview. And it's his time through customs when, you can play it.
Behind the window. And he kind of gives him a head nod. And the guy comes over and he looks at my passport. Now they see my name and they see who I am. And the superior says to me, "So you're here to save us?" And I said, "Well, I think we're here to save us. I'm not one person coming here to do the job. We're going to do this together." And I almost felt like it was a test. Like if I didn't answer correctly, they weren't going to let me.
And I love the fact that Jesse Marsch laughs through all this whole interview at the beginning, especially. That's
a character.
That dude does not laugh a single time.
He's a character. I met him.
He's English. Of course he doesn't.
I met him recently.
Jesse.
He's a character. Like I met him in 2023. He's a character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting guy.
You can tell.
I mean, you didn't meet him when you went to watch Wes at Leeds?
No.
He's a
he wasn't there. Never mind. I take that back.
I've never met him in England.
No, he wasn't there anymore.
I didn't meet him. I didn't meet him in England. I just met him recently in 2023. But he's just a character. He's just an interesting guy. I don't know.
Everybody said he's charming, but the thing is, he tries to charm this guy, and it does not work at all. Like this guy is uncharmable.
British.
He's not like Piers Morgan, where he's charmable. He's charming, like
yeah. So we're going to hear more of this, and then, oh boy, 2048. we're going to hear this theme a lot too, that it's not really about winning for him. It's about the people.
Hey, he was right about that one quote where he said he was fired too early. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, that's why I had said back in January, like, yo, like, kind of fooled West, because West thought he had way more than one game. And then Jesse kind of confirms that in this. And this is the interview, right, where he says he got fired? Yeah. This is okay.
But a lot of us didn't think that. Like,
no, but it goes back to what I said in January, where Weston was recruited by this guy, and he sold him a project, and he jumped in, and he bought the project, and he committed to Leeds, and he signed with Leeds on that loan, and then he got fired a game later. And I said, that's not what you told the player.
No, I agree. Weston,
and then he kind of confirms it. He kind of confirms it in the interview. Like, Jesse didn't think he was going to get fired that soon.
But if you were somebody tracking all the Leeds fans and then also tracking the Leeds media and the local press, him getting fired was not a shock after that loss.
Don't get me wrong. Jesse's still not the best Leeds coach ever, but he still got screwed though. Yeah.
I mean, I think Diego definitely followed all the Leeds fans.
They followed me. Let's
No, I'm not going to go as far to say he got screwed. I think he got plenty of time.
No, I have a different perspective, because the only relation I have with this coach is that he was literally used to recruit Weston, knowing the American connection, and then
in that case he did get screwed, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, that's my perspective. That's a real thing that happened.
Yeah.
They
used him.
They used him, yes, and they lied to the player and the coach, and like, hey, you're gonna go get me these players. You're gonna go get these players in this January window, and we're gonna let you do what you can with them. And we're gonna give you a chance with these players we're bringing in, like Weston, and then you get fired one game in. Yeah, that's you fucked him up. That's
He brought up a couple players in that window and had week-long camp with them before getting fired. It's just what's the point? What was the point of even keeping him?
Reuter came in as well at that time.
Pulling in McKennie,
Yeah, no, he got a couple players and he got fired. It's like it's like college football. You know, when like Nick Saban just retired, but he did it after the commitment window was over. Mm-hmm. So he got all these 5-star players to commit to Alabama, and then he retired afterwards.
Kind of getting screwed, the players.
Yeah, you're screwing, because these kids are committed to Nick Saban, and then Nick Saban retires. You know, same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead and play this.
Sleeve, and this is a little bit how I am. I care more about the people than I do about winning. So I talked to you before that as a player, all I cared about is winning. As a coach, I'm almost 180 degrees.
No, I heard that about you.
So they joke about how he joked about Ted Lasso from the beginning, when his first interview, his first presser, but this is another Ted Lasso-ism. It's not always about the winning for me. It's about making these players the best people that they can be. That type of mentality.
That's fine, but it's bullshit. Here's the thing that people expect from you as a manager. They expect you to be the leader. They expect you to be responsible. They expect that we're not building a goddamn campfire and holding hands and singing Kumbaya. And that's what he's not. He shouldn't be trying to build a professional learning community. This isn't a fucking business. This is one of the problems I have with Greg Berhalter's whole way he runs things. This isn't Disneyland. You're ultimately responsible. And you know what? It doesn't need to be all goddamn perfect. Look at the way Ferguson ran Man United. Not that Jesse's going to ever be that kind of a leader, or Greg will, but he was the guy calling the shots, right? And if you're being hired to run one of the most prolifically popular teams in England, or one of the most well-known teams in England, you better be a boss, man. Don't be fucking around and telling me this is all about making buddy up with your players and shit. That's where this gets annoying.
What was the point of this interview, by the way? Like, what was it done for?
I think that this guy who a lot of his shit is very Leeds focused, just basically said, hey, you want to come in and talk about
this is a Leeds guy, interviewer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I missed that part. Okay.
Yeah. He's a big Leeds fan. This guy does a lot of Leeds coverage as well. So he covers all kinds of other shit, politics, you name it. But he thought he'd bring Jesse in and let Jesse have a shot at explaining his point of view. because this guy was super critical of Jesse while he was the manager there, by the way, on his show. And I give Jesse credit for having the balls to go on, frankly. And if we go to 35, go ahead, Brett. 35-20.
Leeds fan 35-20. Okay, Leeds fans were not sold on Jesse for this interview either.
No, I watched a bunch of them. They said you're full of shit. But and I'm trying to point out the parts of why they think he's full of shit, because the criticism there about, I don't care about winning, I just care about people. Bullshit. You're the fucking coach of this team. And you do whatever you scratch, claw, whatever you need to do to win. You're not there to build a fucking camp of friends. You're there to fucking win. That's it. Stay up. So the fucking guy that owns the team doesn't lose millions of dollars. It's as simple as that. So don't give me all this flowery bullshit. And that's like, I only gave you one example, but this isn't the only time through this interview that he said these kind of things. And it gets annoying and old after a while. Go ahead.
15 out of 20.
18 out of 20.
I thought it was 15.
18.
You'll know better than I. Right, but that's going to get you relegated.
Yes and no.
No, it's going to get you relegated.
Expected goals, we were 28 points.
Oh,
okay?
no.
And by most, but listen,
Simon, let me
data
rubbish.
Okay, let me.
Oh, yeah, it is rubbish.
Well, let me.
You can't use XGs. What are your reasons? I'm sorry, you can't use XG. If you want to say we had a lot of chances.
I'm telling you, this guy's a character. He's an interesting person.
Well, this is just horse poo, though. You don't say this.
He's a stats guy, and he talks about that a couple times in this interview.
I don't think it's working with this guy, but he's a talker. You know, he's a talker. Jesse's a talker. Jesse's a talker.
Doesn't mean I'm not full of shit half the time as well.
I'm just saying he's just a talker. Like I said, he's
half the time. Good one, Derek.
Yeah, but
that's
generous of you, by the way.
Yeah.
XG though, that's not something you bring up, Brett.
Yeah, and he talks about in this interview on a couple of places where, like, yeah, in some of those games, I mean, we had like 4 or 5 good chances, missed PKs, and I left that match going, how did we not get any points in this game?
Right.
You know, they lost 1-0 to Arsenal, and they should have beat them 4-5-1, is what he says. That's true. And as Moxia says here, Bamford literally caused the relegation by himself.
Yep. He was a big part of the problem.
It was fascinating to watch that too, though, because, man, Leeds were like not ready to give up on Bamford for a while there. But then eventually there was a turning point where it was like, okay, well, you missed like your 40th goal. Dude, come on.
Yeah, and that means if Bamford's your big problem, during the fucking window, you don't go out and get Rudder.
Yeah.
Who's not a fucking center forward. You go out and get yourself a fucking center forward who won't fuck those things up. And they didn't do it. They went out and got Rudder. Then they got Weston. But they didn't get a center forward who could score goals. Anybody would have done at that point.
So Marsch says Bamford got a lot of hate and he had to leave social media. That was much later in the season. Like I said, they gave
this is afterward. Jesse was there. Yeah, there was. Yeah, this is
the Leeds fans gave Bamford a long leash, leash, and it's maybe because he's been with the club for so long. He has a history of scoring goals or whatever. But it took a while.
They came for Weston, who was there for a month, quicker than they came for Bamford. Like they gave Bamford the longest leash in history. Weston had like a 2-week leash, and they were already like attacking him.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. I don't know, Diego. Did you see Bamford's goal in that cup match?
Oh yeah, yeah. Someone said, "Why couldn't you do it last year?"
You can do that shit, but you can't put away a tap in.
Right.
Dude, so he says it.
39-44.
39-44.
This is more sacked and metrics.
Until I was sacked.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the end of it, I don't believe I should have been sacked because if you look at the metrics at the time, we were trending in the right direction, absolutely trending in the right direction. And when I left, shortly after I left, it fell off a cliff and the chaos ensued again.
Okay, that's such a bad representation of what happened. Yes, it fell off the cliff. I will agree with that.
Why did it fall off the cliff, Derek?
Because
they had no coach.
Adams got hurt.
Well, Adams was one of the reasons. They were flip-flopping all these different coaches around. Yeah. Bamford still couldn't score, but I don't know about it trending in the right direction. Like this guy is like, he's
if
aghast.
if you look at Jesse's his record in his last 8 games at Leeds, I believe his winning percentage was like, I think he won like 1 or 2 out of those last 8 games. That he was
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
there was nothing positive about his last like month or 2 months there.
Yeah, you cannot say it was trending in the right direction. Again, based on what? And he's saying the metrics. Well, what fucking metrics were you looking at? How
Well, he explained it earlier. The chances on goal, the X goals or whatever the fuck it is.
No,
Derek, if we have 6 goal scoring opportunities, we should in theory get 4 wins in the next 7 games due to the stats.
Well, he obviously had more metrics than that he was using.
I would hope so.
You can't just use XG. He had other metrics in this interview that he was bringing up. The metrics he was saying, not just XG, but all the metrics were pointing. And we're heading in the right direction. I don't know if he woke up one morning and he had solid bowel movement and that counted towards the metrics when the week before he couldn't. So, but to me, you don't say this. I think you got to, at some point, you got to take some fucking responsibility, and he never does in this whole interview.
But I mean, going back to what he said, and then after I left, it went straight down. Well, I mean, Adams had like a game or 2 in there before he got injured, and then they had no answer for that midfield, and that's when they started slotting Weston at the dual pivot. And yes, depending on how you play that, he plays it for Greg right now, and he does fine. I mean, he does fine. He does great right now. Let me rephrase this. But what they were asking him to do wasn't his game. And it wasn't until they threw Cock up into the midfield. They cocked up the midfield that he started having a lot more better games. But at that point, it was all sold. The media, the fans, it was all sold at that point that Weston's no good. Weston's fat. Weston's this.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like you brought a player in and you're playing him out of position.
You're also asking Weston to be the superstar of the team. And he's never been asked to do that wherever he's been. He's never been the superstar at Schalke. He's never been the superstar at now, he's a fucking fabulous player at Juve, but he's got a lot of good players around him. He didn't have a lot of good players around him at fucking Leeds. He was expected to be the man. And that's ridiculous. There were no other players around him helping him out. So, and then I felt like
I was taking crazy pills. Jose Lopez brings up that people were trying to defend Roca, and he was asked too. I felt like I was taking crazy pills because people were like, oh, Roca had a good game. Like, what game were you watching? Roca was not good. He may have been good for like 3 passes, and that was it.
He had some stinkers as well. And then
I was not sold on him. Let's put it that way.
And he was yanked at the end of the season. Like he didn't get any playing time because the last guy that came in, good old Grumpy Pants himself, came in and didn't play him anymore. And then 49-45, Snake Oil. 49-45.
Just in the chairs.
There it is.
That's my point. Yeah. Like, I've never been called a snake oil salesman. Never. In fact, if you went to Germany and Austria, they say, wow, he's a humble guy and he's straightforward and he's open. They'd use the word open a lot because they're more closed.
He definitely took this a little personally. Like really, I mean, it is a personal statement to make. You're a snake oil salesman, but he definitely started going on the attack on this because he wasn't very happy with that.
No, he was not.
Let's see what he has to say.
But but I will say this, Brett. It's not hard to be called open in Germany if you're an American, because traditionally Germans are not open. That's not what we do in Germany. So
I don't know. I've seen some of the nightlife scenes in Germany nowadays. Who knows? They're a little more open now.
Well, that's different. That's a totally different thing. That's self-flatulation. So, all right.
Why I say that is because if something isn't what it is, and you're convincing people that it's going to get to that point, and that people must come on this journey with you, there's an element of subscription about that. And there's an element of understanding that I'm going to buy this person's vision. So what you're saying is, because
that's any walk of life with any leadership at anywhere.
Yeah, but we're not.
Yeah, but you got to be believable.
Well, I mean, I don't think Marsch was out there saying like, hey, you know, next week we'll start this winning streak and we'll vie for a Champions League spot. I think he was pretty much straightforward in the sense that, like, we're going to be lower table.
I think their
we're
one
gonna
fucking goal towards like that part of the season was just like, dude, just fucking stay up.
Yeah.
Don't get relegated.
Right. And I think if you're walking around and you're Jesse, and until he finally said in that one interview, I'm fucking sick of losing, I was like, when is this guy gonna fucking erupt and say enough's enough? I'm sick of fucking losing, and I'm gonna have to call my team out, not personally, not individually, but he didn't do that very much, and that was about his people thing, right? I'm not gonna call the team out. But he never really took personal responsibility either. Then whose fault is it? If you're not going to call out the players, or you're not going to call out yourself, somebody's got to take the blame that shit ain't working. Somebody. And you don't have to be an individual, but you could call out elements of the play on the field without naming names. You could also call out yourself. Of course, you don't want to call out yourself because, as Greg well knows, that means people will attack you. But actually, the opposite is true. When managers take responsibility on occasion for a bad game,
like Burrow does, right?
No, like, well, Klinsmann never took responsibility either. But on occasion, Bob Bradley would say, "I got it wrong." That's people. Then you're more believable of a character, and you can sell the snake oil a little bit better. But you can't if everything is always rosy and fucking flowery. And you're like, we're always on the right path. We're always on the right path. Well, you're not. You're losing.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just need to hear reality.
The interview from here actually continues where where Jesse's like, hey, we were in these games. We were close. We should have probably won more than we did. But do you want me to just sit there and call out a player? I'm not that type of guy. I don't think that's leader, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, he goes on to saying, well, if it's not the player's fault, then or if it is the player's fault, it still falls on you,
Yes, that's true. It does. And then we'll just do two more. This one I brought up at 1 hour and 11 seconds because it's so revealing of Robert Kraft and how big of a loser douchebag that guy is, even though he didn't lose with obviously Tom Brady and the Patriots or whatever. They're fine. But the guy that never spends money on his Revs team, his soccer team. But I thought this is a great quote.
Well, and you will get into this, but this also leads into giving evidence to Lawless when he talks about relegation and promotion here in the States. Because this is the mentality.
This is the mentality of a lot of owners in MLS. Yes.
Bob Kraft years ago, because I took the team out to play the Revolution. I think Stevie Nicol was managing the team.
Okay.
And I said to him, what do you think about English football? Fuck that. I'm not going to play in a league that I can't guarantee the revenue.
Yeah.
So are you surprised about...
Yeah. So he goes on to say, so are you surprised there's so many American owners? Well, a lot of American owners are willing to take that risk, other people. But if you're talking about Kraft and you're talking about some of the original owners of MLS, they didn't want to take, and they still don't want to take that kind of risk. So just a look in there. And then the last one is at 1:08, 1 hour, 8 minutes and 20 seconds. And this is an insight into, I guess, the fairy Disneyland that Marsch is looking for his next coaching job, which just can't be true. There is no place like this. I just want to let him know. There's no place you're going to go where this scenario is true. You can play it.
You asked me what are my non-negotiables?
Yeah.
Are about finding selfless people that care about each other and about how to run a club and treat each other the right way. And by doing it through a football process so that we can have success together. Not just about me, not just about them, not just about one player, two players, about the entire club and how we, as the custodians of that club, can help run it in a way that makes sense, where we have similar ideals for how to treat people, how to work every day, and how to create success.
It's a fucking utopia.
He wants to take over for Ted Lasso at AFC Richmond is what I'm
saying. I guess so. A fucking utopia. Those don't exist. And any club, anywhere you go, there's no such thing as no conflict, everybody being on the same page, everybody being selfless. That's not going to happen at any big club. You're always going to have the one standout player who's a little egotistical, like an Ibrahimovic, but gets the job done. You got to live with that. That's how this works. I'm sorry, but you know,
It's like my non-negotiable is I need more than one transfer window. Okay.
Apparently,
that's all I need.
No, he would have picked.
I know
the
he said
same,
more than one, but
he would have picked the same guys that didn't work out. Who was the right back from Austria? That guy was horrible. Almost all
every right back at Leeds, every fullback at Leeds.
so the other right back that took over for Christensen was bad too. What's his name? Start with an A.
Yeah, he actually just moved to Middlesbrough today.
Firpo stunk. Right back, but he stunk.
Forgot his name.
The
But
center back who played left back for the first half of the season. I thought he was fine, but he was also playing out of position. I can't remember his name either.
That might be the guy that went to Middlesbrough today, which
So
was a shock to
Ayling.
lead. Ayling, Luke Ayling, yeah.
Is,
It's
the right back.
Wow, you just got rid of Ayling? That's crazy to Middlesbrough.
I can't think of who was playing out left. There we go. Thank you. BMR had it. I knew somebody was
Struck. Yeah.
I know it was crazy. Y'all know it was crazy, and I'm dying of boredom from this Jesse interview. Not
anyways.
Jesse interview is boring. Y'all know it was so fucking crazy. This guy at some point was the coach of the U.S. national team. Like, this same guy. This guy was the coach of the U.S. national team at some point, but then he wanted way too much power. He started telling everybody the news prematurely, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't want to do with all that. We want someone we can control."
I don't know.
He only has way more hair than I have. So.
He's gonna be. He would have been an improvement over Greg.
we
However,
wouldn't have been hearing about African dogs.
He's still a systems guy. He is authentic, whereas Greg is calculated. Those are very different things. And I think to some extent that Jesse's somewhat calculated too, because
Greg is very calculated. You know, Greg decides his subs like during week of training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
makes sense.
Very calculated. Like the game, he selects his subs with his starting 11. He's like, okay, this is my starting 11. Bearing an injury, these are my 3, 4, 5 subs, depending on the type of game it is. And even though the game has gone completely opposite of what he planned for it to be, he keeps those subs.
So this is his big problem. He has an inability to change on the fly,
adjust.
Yeah,
well,
through the match. That's one of his. Then player management in general, but yeah.
And that calculatedness is also reflected in his interviews, in the way he conducts himself in interviews. I mean, he's a
control freak.
Yes. And I think that Jesse Marsch, the only difference between those two guys is that Jesse Marsch is less of a control freak, I think.
I don't think Jesse was that much of a control freak. Or is that much of a control. I think he's a little bit more loose with it, opening. You know,
yes.
Like, he's more kumbaya.
Right. But Greg likes to put off the thing about the kumbaya too.
Yeah, but he's not actually kumbaya.
Exactly. Though. He's not. Whereas Jesse is actually a kumbaya guy, but his system's still rigid. It's pretty rigid.
That's coaching though. I know Jesse ain't the best coach in the world. But we talk about personalities and the way they manage teams. Yeah, like I think Jesse's a better fit, especially for this team because they're so young, and I think they welcome open doors. Jesse's kumbaya approach.
Well, there's no doubt.
Greg is strict. You know, Greg is strict on the players.
It looked like to me, even as the season was sort of crumbling for Jesse, the players still played their fucking nutsack off for him.
Mm-hmm.
They still went out there and they played hard.
Listen. Jesse's just a system, guys, and his system doesn't change. It doesn't matter if fucking they're in last place of the Premier League or first. He's gonna go with what he knows, but he just has better. He knows how to manage players better, not necessarily the team, but players.
He's a people manager guy.
Yeah, he's a people manager. Like it's like you guys said, his systems don't work. That they're outdated. They suck. But he gets very good along with the players and the people around the team, and that's how he lasted as long as he did.
Right. Larry for $2 says, "Does anyone remember how bad he sucked in Germany?" Are we talking about Jesse again?
We're talking about Jesse.
No, they're talking about Luke Ayling.
Luke Ayling played in Germany recently.
I'm pretty sure they sent that question whenever you're talking about the right backs. Where did Jesse?
We're talking about the backs, but I'm pretty positive Larry's talking about Jesse in a sense.
It's got to be Jesse.
Where was Jesse at? Red
Bulls.
Leipzig.
How did they do when he was there?
Not very good. Not very good.
No?
I mean, they had so when Jesse got there,
didn't they just win everything? Like they had just won like a cup, or
they had done really good
Yeah.
the season before under totally different system, and then Jesse wanted to go there and bring Red Bull ball back, the same kind of Red Bull ball he was playing at Salzburg that he had learned from Ragnick, and basically he got there and the players didn't want to play that style, and so he immediately clashed with most of the players. And then one day he showed up in the offices and said, yeah, I know you guys want me to go back what the other guy was doing, but I thought I was coming here to do Red Bull ball. So if you're not going to do Red Bull ball, I'm just going to take my services elsewhere. And that's what happened.
It's like a mutual.
And I forgot he talks about this kind of in the interview too, but he talks about I forgot what player it was who wanted to go and play in the Euros and in the Olympics. Was it the Olympics?
Yes.
No, Euros and something else?
Yes. No, Olympics and Euros.
And he came back and he injured himself first week of training.
After playing both those things?
Yeah.
That's the most responsibility I've heard Jesse take for anything so far.
You think he doesn't take accountability?
He did for that, but I don't hear a whole lot of accountability in this interview.
Yeah, it sounds like he deflects a lot.
He does.
Yeah, like you're saying, like you'll talk about like his record at Leeds and he'll deflect, well, it doesn't have to do with wins or losses. You know what I'm saying? Like it sounded like he deflected a lot from these questions.
XG, etc. Yeah.
It's like, well, we were expected to win because our XG was that. You know, it's just like, okay, what's your win and loss record? That's what really matters.
How many of those balls actually win the net?
Yeah.
Right. Danny Olmo is the player he's talking about.
Yeah.
And that's the only time in this
interview. Danny Olmo did play the Olympics with Spain and the Euro.
Yeah. And that's the only time he really took responsibility for making a bad decision in this interview. And I wish he would have done some more. I wish he would have given us a little bit more of an insider look and say, there are some things I shouldn't have started Bamford in this game. Bamford was on a bad streak, but I decided I had to keep playing him because, who else was going to score for us?
Spacing their actual goal scorer's name. What was his name? Was it the Spanish guy or the Brazilian guy?
Oh, not
Rodrigo. Rodrigo.
Oh, yeah, Rodrigo.
So Rodrigo was injured for a chunk there. Of course, at that point, he's like, well, do I play Bamford or do I play some kid that came from the academy that hasn't played a minute? Well, I would have played anybody else at that point.
You had no depth at center forward, and you made no effort, Jesse, to get a center forward during the window. So that's on you, brother, and you should own up to that. All right, so that is going to do it for tonight. I want to thank Diego for showing up and doing all of 2 hours and almost all 2 hours.
Man, that
37 minutes
crashed me out, man.
I know. There's certain parts of this show that we do every night that you probably would be quite bored with. But thank you for coming on. Thank you for clearing up what you cleared up. Thank you for adding what you added. And we'll be back on Monday. Hopefully we get to see a lot of good games this weekend that we can cover on Monday. And until the next time on the Straight Red Card, we love you. Good night. Make sure you like, subscribe. Mwah.
But she's a trap. She's an unsung novel. Turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line. Or a phone call with or without wine.
That hurt.
Then what is this thing?
Gio should never play for U.S. men's national team again because of the action of his parents.
What an idiot! Oh!
What type of Muppet does this?
Muppets. Absolute Muppets.
I'm not going to be the best person to give a whole explanation here, but that's...
Fucking deal with it. What are we really doing?
Yeah.